Happy Halloween. I haven't celebrated Halloween in a long time. Have not celebrated Halloween for a long time, but for those of you that do, happy Halloween. I hope it's a fun one. For me, I'm just really excited to watch Houston, New York tonight. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm not putting action down on it. I have to admit, I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again. I think this is the week the Jets kind of turn things around. I think Diggs tearing the ACL will affect things enough that the Jets can get a win. And, with 10 days rest before their next game, make things a little interesting. I'm also really excited about the trade deadline. But for today, Fantasy Football Thursday, let's talk some football. I'm here for 3 hours. I'm going to talk football. I'm jacked up. I got Austin coming in right away. Welcome. Hey, Dan, I think it would be fun if I give you my team and my opponent's team starters this week. Ridiculous. I would love that. I would love that. And I'll break down because, oh, my God. You know what? I'm going to do just the opposite. I'm going to do your opponent's lineup because, Josh Allen, Barkley, Hall. This is a good team you're going against, man. This is a good team you are going against. You're going against Breece Hall tonight. DJ Moore and Devontae Smith. Both, I think the receivers are okay. Your receivers are better. Ingram solid, Flex and Connor, tough matchup against the Bears. What you're hoping is that he won't have a lot of yards against the Bears. What you're hoping for is that he doesn't get a touchdown. Tucker's a good one. I did put some action down on the I'll talk about this today and tomorrow. I did put some action down on the Ravens Broncos. I took the over at 46.5. I should have took it when it was 45. If it total score ends up being 46, I'm going to be furious. But I think it's going to be a shootout. So you're going to get some points. And I like Washington's defense playing against the Giants. He will get some points. Ingram could have a massive game because the way I look at the game against Philly's probably going to jump out to a lead. The question is, will Jacksonville just fall apart and score 13 points, or are they going to score like 20, 24? Barkley probably is going to have a big game. Josh Allen at home against the Dolphins probably going to have a big game. What you're hoping is Breece Hall doesn't. And then, you got Moore, Smith, and Connor, which you're hoping. Overall, though, this is really solid. I think Allen's going to have a big game. Barkley's going to have a big game. You're hoping Hall doesn't, but I think he could. And then Washington and Tucker combined, you're probably looking at 20, 25 points, depending on your scoring. You got your hands full, but you have a good team. I love the fact that you have two players on Monday night, Mayfield and Kareem Hunt. In a perfect world, Austin, you don't even need it because your receivers are fantastic. Your receivers are much, much, much better. Jefferson, McLaurin are going to put up some points. McLaurin against a Giants secondary that's had some problems, and you're at Washington, you're at New York. Keep in mind, even if you get out to an early lead, you still need to throw the ball. McLaurin's been solid, so I like that quite a bit. Walker, you're hoping has one of those days. He's real up and down. But John Robinson against Dallas could have a big game. Could have a big game. I don't know where, but no correction. I'm sorry. I was going to say he's from Texas. He's actually from Arizona. I lied to you. Played in Texas, but he's from Arizona. But John Robinson could easily, like a lot of people grew up being Cowboys fans, could be a little excited. Cole Kmet is interesting. Again, you don't really know, but solid. Aubrey solid. Texans defense. It's kind of funny because you're going against Saquon Barkley and you have the Texans defense. So hopefully it's not a situation where Brees Hall has a big game and your defense is a bad one. But I like Aubrey to kicker. I like that you got a couple guys on Monday night. Sunday night, ideally, Jefferson does enough for you. I'm not being facetious when I say this. I'm being dead serious because your opponent's lineup. Let's take a look here. Barkley's going to play early. Bears are going to play late. I say late, like afternoon. Bears and Cardinals are going to play in the afternoon here. I'm taking a look here. I don't see. Did I miss something? I don't see anybody playing late. So ideally on Sunday Night Football, Justin Jefferson gets enough that and I do believe this too. I think Justin Jefferson could get enough for you on Sunday night that you win, because Kenneth Walker could have a massive game. He could also have 6-7 points. You don't know. John Robinson could blow up. I think McLaren's solid. But we'll have to find out. Yeah, Kmet's not bad. Kmet's not bad. In a perfect world, Jefferson. By the way, Jefferson could easily have one of those games where it's like 120 and 2 touchdowns, get you 25, 30 points, and you get enough from Walker and John Robinson and McLaren that you don't even have to worry about Monday Night Football. More than likely, what I'll see is that you'll be down. He'll probably have you almost doubled up going into Sunday night, and what you'll need is Jefferson, Mayfield, and Hunt to come through. Probably. That's kind of what I see. It's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup. It really is. I mean, I'm a Chiefs fan, so I hope Baker Mayfield plays bad and Kareem Hunt plays well. You got your hands full. What you're really hoping is tonight Brees Hall doesn't do well. Austin, I hope to hear back from you tomorrow, man, and hopefully things are good. Oh my God, it's my boy Tim. Tim, what's up? I don't want to say it, but I know you're probably doing something shady right now. Happy Halloween, brother. I don't know what the official title is. Can I say granddaughter? Like, you can't put enough pictures of that little girl up. Can't put enough pictures of that little girl up. She is adorable. I don't know what the technical term would be. I'm going to call her granddaughter, but yeah, can't put enough pictures of her up. Dave, what is up, my brother? Kyler, Adams, Addison, Jacobs, Bijan, Ingram, Javonte, Aubrey, Kinsey's D. Nice. Benches Rogers. That is interesting. Leggett and Kraft have a pending trade for Debo and Brees for Cup and Mooney. The trade doesn't go through for tomorrow for somewhere. That is weird because I'm kind of curious because Breece Hall plays tonight. So how does that work? If you're getting, is it? If I remember, I thought you were getting Breece. How's that work? Like, do you get credit for Breece Hall's points tonight, or does he get it? That's weird. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm almost tempted to kind of flip it. I honestly, I'm kind of leading since you got Devontae Adams. I would go with Rodgers and Adams. That's just me because I'm looking at the Bears defense. That's a good unit. I mean, that's a good unit. But I don't hate that. I do think Rodgers and Adams will put up some points. Yeah, why the trade goes through for you're getting Debo and Breece Hall, if I remember correctly. So like that's not really fair that does he get credit for Hall's points or do you get, because you can't start him, so that's kind of messed up. That said, Josh Jacobs, so what the rumors are is that Love's not been practicing, but he could play. I think even if he plays, Jacobs could be solid. I think if Malik Willis plays, I really don't know what to expect. But John Robinson could have a monster game. Ingram could have a monster game. I like Javonte Williams. Of course, I said the same exact thing last week. And I know the Chiefs defense has not been putting up a lot of points fantasy-wise, but it's one of the best defenses in football. You're going to get some sacks. Maybe you'll get a pick or two, so you get a few points. I'm gonna level with you, man. I mean, I look at the Houston Texans, and I think that the Diggs injury might affect them more psychologically than anything else. I like Rodgers tonight. I'm debating about Leggett over Addison, but I would probably roll with Addison. Yeah, it's not right. It's really not right that you can't play Breece. But Dave, no matter what you do, man, stay in touch with me. I want to know how you do. I do have a weird situation where I won't be live next week, unfortunately, but I'm going to post stuff in the comments page. Not sure what I'll be able to do video wise or not video wise next week. I will be live Monday for the Chiefs Bucks. So Monday Night Football. I hope you tune into the live stream. In a perfect world, I'll have that set up tonight. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never like, I don't know what's going on. I've never experienced Halloween here in Vegas. I don't know really what to expect. So just full disclosure. I have no idea what to expect. That's not a bad option. All right. No, I would be mad. I would legitimately be mad about that. That would really make me mad because you should be able to play him tonight. Let me know. Yeah. Oh God, dude. Seriously. I get a kick out of it. I don't want to get too much in your personal business, and or at least not here. But you know me. I'm a single guy. I'm not really a settled down type. I was raised Catholic, so you know my mom for a long time was like are you going to settle down and have some kids? And finally she just kind of gave up. I'm not that type of guy. I'm just more of a gambling football junkie who moves 2 time zones to Vegas type of guy. So I mean, yeah. Happy Halloween, man. It's probably next year, maybe she'll go try. I don't know. I don't know anything about kids, but I love the pictures, man. My team: Daniels, Connor, St. Brown, Kelsey, Chubb, Vikings, D, Spillane. Oh, nice job with Spillane. Pratt, Branch, and Riley. Pretty solid, I think. 5 and 3 thoughts. The defensive players I love. Riley's kind of a low key guy that I'm glad you picked up. I think he could have a monster game. If I'm correct, you're talking about Riley, the Broncos corner. If I'm correct. Branch could have a monster game, especially if Willis is playing. I think if Love plays with no practice, could have a pick again. Seriously, you're hard pressed to find better linebackers than Spillane and Pratt. I mean, you really have to do some work. Vikings D, I like. I would liked it more if Richardson was starting, but I like it. You have multiple pass rushers. You have a little extra time. Dallas Turner's having problems just getting on the field. I thought he was the best defensive player in the draft. Remember, they traded up for him, and he's not even getting on the field. Once like the light bulb goes off, and you have to understand something about that Flores scheme. It's complex, and even somebody who went to Alabama is having a hard time adjusting to it because Alabama ran under Saban a NFL style defensive scheme. But once the light bulb goes off, like it could be really good. Daniels is banged up, but he is going against a good front seven, but bad secondary. Connor, tough matchup, man. I mean, you're going against Bears. That's just tough. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like what you're hoping is for a touchdown. St. Brown, honestly, if Love plays and they can put up some points, St. Brown is going to have a monster game. I could see a situation where Detroit gets out early and they just kind of run the wall down their throat. I could see that, but what you're hoping for is some Packers points, because the more points Packers score, the more points St. Brown's going to score. Kelsey, I think, is going to have a game. Amazement even came in the chat, and I saw something like the Tampa Bay's giving up like the 3rd most yards to tight ends, and DeAndre Hopkins on the outside, who Andy Reid's been saying, I expect him to play more, I expect him to do some things on Monday night. Don't be surprised they go to Hopkins early, just like they did last week, and that opens up the middle of the field. So I like that. Chubb against a tough Chargers defense is interesting, but full disclosure, I wanted to go back and watch the Browns Ravens game on the Sunday ticket. But I kind of know from the highlights. I already kind of know everything I need to know, and I've been saying the same thing. This is why I put action down on the Broncos Ravens game. I took over. I took over 46.5. I should have got it at 45.5, but I did put action down over because I know the Ravens defense is bad. And they gave up a lot of passing yards, and Winston can play. I mean, he's got talent. He's just, he has these games where he plays really well. Then he has a game where he just throws 4 or 5 picks. You don't know. Chubb, I was going to watch the game more because I wanted to see how Chubb looked. He looked fresh. I don't know. You have to understand, Chubb's one of those guys that even against a really good defense can go for 100 and a couple touchdowns. And what you're hoping for is Connor gets in the end zone. I don't think he's going to have a good game. So, but I do like it. I do think you're pretty good. Here's the deal with being 5-3 right now. You got a guy in Chubb who upside's off the chart. All your defensive players are all going up. So what you're hoping for is Kelsey gets a little more involved, St. Brown putting up points every week, and you're hoping Daniels stays healthy. And you'll be in good shape. You'll be in good shape. I do think Connor's production will go down, but I keep saying that, and Trey Benson hasn't even looked at the field. Tim, it's so good to see you, man. Happy Halloween, man. Yeah, Riley Moss. I know. Yeah. The Denver corner. Yeah. He. By the way, I mean, seriously, it's going to be a shootout, so he's going to have production. You're hoping for a pick. Yeah, he's a good player. Really good pick. Stuff this week, would you go and get Kirk Cousins from the waiver wire, or would you stick with Mayfield? I'd love is healthy. Would you start him over Baker? This week, absolutely not. He hasn't practiced all week. Even if he does play, don't get me wrong. I mean, there could be a situation where, he doesn't practice. He comes in and goes for 300 and a few touchdowns, runs for one. Sure. I like to play the percentages. Baker Mayfield's been solid all year, been consistent. I'll be honest with you. Kirk Cousins would be the better matchup. And so here's the deal, Cousins. You're at home, better matchup, better weapons. I would not hate that at all. The problem is that going forward, I would really like Baker Mayfield. I really would. Now let's take a look at the schedule, because he has some tough matchups. All right. Kansas City's going to be tough. San Francisco, week 11 bye. After the bye, Giants, it's on the road, but still. Carolina, on the road, but still. Raiders at home, good defense, but I think you can get some points. Chargers on the road's tough at Dallas. And at Dallas is 16. I don't know when your playoffs start, but I will say this: if your playoffs go into 17 and 18, you have Carolina and the Saints, the final two games of the season at home. I mean, I really like the matchup. It's just, you got to think about how's he going to adapt. When I look at Kirk Cousins, Dallas at home, at the Saints, at Denver, those are two tough matchups. A week 12 bye. Chargers at home, at Minnesota, at Vegas, home against New York, at Washington. Final game of the season's at Carolina. So matchup favors Tampa Bay and Baker. It really does. The question is that when you look at this team, can you work with Trey Palmer, talented kid, Jalen McMillan, a rookie, Cade Otton, Sterling Shepard? Is that enough? I mean, I'm a level with you. I don't have a problem with Baker Mayfield. I would start him this week over Jordan Love. I really would. Look at this. So far, 2,189 yards, second in the NFL. 21 touchdowns, number one. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Last 3 weeks, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. over 1,000 yards. Last 3 weeks, 325, 370, 330. So would I get Cousins on the waiver wire? I think this week it's not a bad option. I really, but if you have to drop your quarterback to get him, then no. I like rolling with a known quantity. at quarterback, and but I'll be honest with you. I mean, this week I think Kirk Cousins would be a better play than Baker Mayfield. But if you have to drop, if you have to drop somebody to get Cousins, then I wouldn't do that. All right, let's do it. Dave, if I am wrong, please come back here Friday and yell every expletive that you can think of. But you're at home on Thursday. I was looking over. So what I do is when I wake up, I just scour social media, all my social media accounts for the most part. Now there was full disclosure with the election coming up next week. I looked at some election stuff, but usually 2 hours before the show, from the time I wake up till the time I go live, I'm on my phone and I'm just looking up. I always go to ESPN, I go to the NFL Network, and then there's several people that I follow. Most big names, some small names, people that aren't on national TV, that accounts I follow. Some Chiefs stuff, just fun stuff, but a lot of gambling sites. Because I think that the gambling sites have some good information, and what you have is that the Jets line per ESPN went from 1 to 2. Today it's 2.5. There's a lot of money being bet on the Jets. A lot of money. I think that says something. That's ESPN. Now ESPN's not a great. It's kind of funny. I live here in Nevada. I can't even use ESPN Bet in Nevada. That's just goofy. I haven't had a chance to check the local casinos. I have an affiliation with Bet US, so I've been using Bet US exclusively. Hey, look, if you're going to have me an affiliation, and that stayed solid at 1. The one thing I'll say is that the odds have shifted. It's so if you take the Texans +1, it's even money. If you take the Jets -1, it's at -120. So there has been action on the Jets, but not as much on Bet US as it's been on ESPN Bet, which I'm not a huge fan of. I just think it's goofy. You have a betting website, but if you live in the state of Nevada, you can't. So, but yeah, I like Rodgers. I like Rodgers. Look, I like the Bears defense a lot too. That's another thing, is that when I look at the Bears defense, I mean, this is I have to, ever since they added Montez Sweat, this defense has been really, really, really good. And what I like about them is that this is a big physical defense. I mean, and here's the deal. You could say speed versus size, like Kyler Murray. Maybe Kyler Murray can run the ball, but like Tremaine Edmonds is a 260-pound linebacker. I've been a monster fan of him ever since he came out of Virginia Tech. He entered the draft at 19, and he was 6'4", 255, and he ran a 4.55. I thought when Buffalo drafted him, he was going to put on what I like to call the NFL 20, play defensive end. Instead, he's like, hey, you're going to play middle linebacker, drop in the coverage. And I always like, why do I have a guy who's about 260, even though he can run with the receivers, why drop him back in the coverage? So when he signed that big contract with the Bears, it's not been a big name, but Chicago's famous for their middle linebackers. So you get Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards has been a tackling machine, but their defensive line, Sweat, Billings, Dexter, Walker, big athletic dudes that can run. I know Montez Sweat is questionable, but I think he'll play. I don't know if you remember at the combine, he ran the 4.41. I mean, at like 6'6", 270. It was kind of funny because he had to go. I don't know if you saw Last Chance U, but Montez Sweat went there. He wasn't on the Netflix series, but he did go there before he ended up Mississippi State. And I think coming out of high school, he's a tight end. I was like, if you're 6'6", 270 and you're on a 4.4, why aren't you playing tight end? Do you realize how much money? Well, he made a lot of money at defensive end. So I just really have such a man crush on. And by the way, the Bears defense has been playing lights out lately. Last 4 games, I know they lost to Hail Mary, 18 points. 6 of that was on the Hail Mary. 16 points against Jacksonville, 10 against Carolina, 18 against the Rams. They've only given up 20 points once this year. The Bears defense. I mean, that's amazing. So I mean that's kind of my logic here. I look at the Houston Texans, and I like the Texans defense. Don't get me wrong, but 27 against the Colts, 13 against the Bears, 13 against the Bears. 34 against the Vikings, 20 against Jacksonville, 20 against Buffalo, 21 against the Patriots, 24 against Green Bay, and 20 against Indianapolis. I'm breaking this down a lot because I'm just trying to explain my logic behind here. I'm just not. I mean, I have to admit there's a lot of things about the Bears defense I like, but Kyler Murray or Aaron Rodgers, and also, but I went on my rant. I forgot to mention, Aaron Rodgers has covered the spread 12 out of 15 times on Thursday night, and I was thinking about putting some action down, but I'm going to pass. But I do like Rodgers tonight. Dave, I hope we're talking. I really hope we're talking tomorrow, and like Adams has a couple touchdowns, Rodgers has over 300, and you're thanking me. Tigger, 12-team non-PPR, Superflex 2 quarterbacks. I got Lamar, I got Hall, I got Hunt, I got Downs. London, Ferguson, Mixon, T. Law, benches Aguilar, Carr, D. Hop, Justice Hill, Mason, Jerry Jeudy, Alec Pierce, Thielen, Noah Brown. Help me win. Well, Thielen's out for the year. Let's Adam Thielen's out for the year, so I think we can get rid of him. A non-PPR lowers Josh Downs' value dramatically because he's been a guy who gets a lot of catches, just not a lot of yards. You might want to consider in a non-PPR league Hopkins, but you're banking on a touchdown. Breece Hall I do like tonight, but has much more value in a PPR. This whole time I thought you were in a PPR. Hunt's value again also kind of goes down, but Mixon's I think goes up. So you have some good pieces in play. Now, here's the drill. Mason's value may be almost nothing. Thielen, you could drop him. You probably picked up Noah Brown because of the score, but that's not somebody who's going to produce. Jerry Jeudy, upside, I like that. Aguilar, keep a hold of him. He's been getting more and more touches. And Robinson stays healthy, but Aguilar, a lot of people forget, as a rookie went over 1,000 yards rushing. So I like that. Also like keeping Derek Carr. You could, if you really wanted to. Carr's playing this week against a historically bad Panthers defense. Trevor Lawrence is playing against a really good Eagles defense at Philly. They held Joe Burrow and company to 17 points. Carr has been banged up. I would not blame you if you went Trevor Lawrence and held out Derek Carr. I mean, I could see if you really, really wanted to roll the dice. I mean, look, you're in a 6-game slide. I'm a level with you. Like, I probably wouldn't do it. But if you really, really, really wanted to roll the dice, you have a historically bad Panthers defense. You've lost 6 in a row. You got to win. You got Derek Carr coming back. You could really roll the dice. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have no. Here's the deal with Trevor Lawrence. I expect Philly to kind of jump out to a lead. In a perfect world, if you have Trevor Lawrence, you want Jacksonville to come out to a lead because Philly will put points up on Jacksonville. That's undisputed. The question is, do they get out early, get like a 21-0 lead, and Jacksonville shuts down, or can Jacksonville get some points up early and make this a shootout? That's your problem. If Philly jumps out to a double-digit lead in the first half, there is a chance Jacksonville just folds completely. With Derek Carr, I mean, I don't see a situation where Derek Carr is not putting up points. Is he banged up and has to leave the game, or is he just go for like 330 and 5 touchdowns? I mean, that could help. As far as moves here, I mean, I kind of, since it's a non-PPR league, Hall, Hunt, and Downs value is going to be kind of low. I do like the fact that you got Mixon, could have a big game. I do think Hall could have a big game. Lamar Jackson has a tough matchup, but I mean, he's probably the NFL MVP. Drop Adam Thielen right now. And let's scour the waiver wire and see if we can upgrade your team. Tyler, what's up, brother? Dell Coleman, Reed, pick one. Dell hasn't done anything all year, but he's last man standing. Yeah, that's kind of my thought process. Look, I know what you're thinking, but here's the deal with Reed. If Jordan Love plays, if he plays, the rumor is that he could not practice all week and still play. You can't bank on that. Coleman against Miami, I like. I do think Amari Cooper's the number one guy there. And honestly, you have no idea. Like, is it going to be Shakir? Is it going to be Kincaid? Are they just going to run the ball? Like, are they going to get up by 20 early? Remember, Buffalo has had a few games where they've just blown out Miami. Josh Allen has like a comical record against Miami. It's like 13-1. And he's had some games in Miami where he's just blown up the Dolphins. I was looking at this a while back. Like, he's had some fantasy football numbers against Miami. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I have no confidence in Miami's defense either. So I wouldn't blame you if you picked Coleman and said you're going to roll dice. But I like Dell. I mean, look, Diggs They just found out Tuesday. Like, this wasn't a, hey, we're going to prepare. A lot of people don't realize this, but after on a short week, as soon as Sunday's over, the coaching staff, there's actually coaches that prepare for the game Thursday before Sunday's game. So, like, they're getting the plan together on, maybe weeks in advance. I'm not really sure. I couldn't tell you specifics, but usually what they do is kind of get the game plan together Sunday and Monday, and then implement. Usually the implementation for a Sunday game is on Tuesday. Usually it starts Monday. My whole point of this illogical rant is that they found out Tuesday, so this really mixes things up. You're going to have to kind of force Dell to do things that Diggs was going to do. So I do expect targets. That's long and short. So I would go with Dell. You can't count on Reed, in my opinion, even though it's a good matchup against Detroit, a team that struggled defensively, that's probably going to put up over 30 points. So, and then Coleman could do something crazy against Miami. He could also have one catch for 5 yards. I think Dell is the most consistent. That's what I would do. Tyler, I hope to hear from you tomorrow. And yeah, he really does, man. God, he's so sweet. Yeah. He did a lot of weird things. Like, I remember the combine when we ran a 4.41. And then the only thing I really didn't like about him, natural pass rushers have that bend, and he didn't really have that. But I mean, the dude's powerful. He's fast, and what I like about him is he's a high motor type of guy. All I know is that when he got to Chicago, that defense completely changed. That's a good defensive unit. 7 Leaves Designs. What is up, my brother? Pearsall, Pop, Douglas, or Jay Tolbert for my last bench spot. This is a great question. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I always look at for your last bench spot, what you want is a potential over production. So Purcell first. You can debate if he was worthy. I didn't have a first round grade on him personally, but he's first round draft pick. Okay, he's on a bye, but he's getting implemented into the offense. Brandon Ayuk is out. I like that. Okay. Tolbert is a guy I loved. He was a 3rd round pick out of South Alabama, and I really like this guy because he's one of these, size speed combo type of guys. He's going to sit behind CD Lamb for a couple of years. Remember, they got Brandon Cook, so I was like, you're going to the right spot. You're going to a pass happy team. You have all the athleticism in the world. When's the light bulb going to go off? And it hasn't. It just hasn't. Well, what was it? Cedric Tillman for the Browns. It's that kind of situation. Like, size, speed, athleticism, it's all there. It just, for whatever reason, it hasn't come on. The light bulb hasn't gone on. I would roll with Purcell because he has the opportunity. He has the offense. It's really just when they get back from the bye. Here's another thing. Kittle constantly gets hurt. You have no idea what to expect from CNC. Deebo Samuel is always going to be an injury issue. He's first round pick. He's got talent. I mean, I didn't have a first round grade on him, but the bottom line, he was a first round draft pick. I would go in this order: Purcell, Tolbert, and Douglas. And the one thing I would tell you is that I like potential over production. I have no idea why things haven't worked out with Tolbert in Dallas. Like it's his third year there. It should. I mean, look, you're opposite CeeDee Lamb. Why are you not getting opportunities? You every now and then I'll see a flash of Tolbert and I'm like, okay, that's it. Like this is a guy, if he played in an SEC school, he probably would have been a first round draft pick. Like Purcell, who played at Florida. I mean, seriously, if you would have flipped these two and Tolbert played at Florida and Purcell played at South Alabama, Purcell probably would have been like a 4th or a 5th round pick and Tolbert would have been a first round pick. But for whatever reason, it doesn't come on. So I would go with Purcell. But let me know what you do. That would be me. Brian, what's up, brother? Brian, I have a bad thing about names. So I'm just going to go with Brian. I apologize because the last name's cool as hell. I'm just going to butcher it. You got one advice there. All right. Brian asked, pick 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, bro. Full PPR, Nakuda, Hunt, Neighbors, London. Okay, first off, I always love 3 down backs in a PPR league. God, this is tough, man, because, I mean, it's funny. Tyler says Puka's a must. I don't know, man. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Drake London's been playing really, really, really good. In order to beat Washington, Neighbors has to have a good game. Matter of fact, I'm almost positive last time Neighbors played against Washington, he lit it up. I have no confidence in Seattle's defense. God, that is really tough, man. That's a tough one because you got 3 receivers with lineups that I like. Man, and here's the thing: you got 3 down back who's had over 20 touches. This is a tough one, and I want to go over Kareem Hunt's numbers because the last 3 weeks, 27 carries and a touchdown, 22 carries, 2 touchdowns, 21 carry, 1 touchdown. Only 4 receptions, but I do think the value is there. So I have a hard time telling you, hey, look, by the way, Saints, 49ers, Raiders, all good defensive teams. So I have a hard time telling you, hey, take a guy that's been wildly productive and put him on the bench. I have a bad feeling I'm going to have to tell you to do that because I'm looking at Puka Nakuda. What did he do last week? 11 receptions in his first game. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Against Minnesota in his first game back, 7 receptions, 106. Against a really good Vikings defense. He's going against here's the deal. You could maybe get out to a 21-0 lead and you just run the ball. That's a possibility, but I have a hard time, one thing about Seattle is they got talent on offense. So I have a really, really, really hard time telling you, not to do that. Neighbors, I want to look at this. I'm almost positive he had like 12 for 125 against Washington last time. I'm almost positive. I'm sorry, it's 10 for 127 and a touchdown. By the way, except for the Philly game, I think that was the game. No, actually, I don't remember. Philly was the game he got knocked out, but 10 targets, 8 targets, 12 targets last week against Pittsburgh, 7 targets. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rewind. 18 targets against Washington, 10 for 127 and a touchdown. 12 targets, 15 targets, 8 targets against Philly, and then last week against Pittsburgh, a really, really good defense. 13 targets, 7 receptions, 71 yards. Last time he played against Washington, 10 receptions, 127. And touch. I don't think I've ever done this before, Brian. I'm almost positive I've never done this before. I'm almost going to tell you to bench my boy Hunt. Last week against Tampa Bay, London, 4 catches, 34 yards. Loss against Seattle, 6 for 63 and a touch. Carolina, 6 for 74 and a touch. Had that big game. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at London's numbers. Tampa Bay, 4 for 34. Seattle, 6 for 63 and a touch. 5 touchdowns all year. But here's the thing, the last 2 weeks, 14 targets. All right. So now we've kind of looked at this in a little more detail. Nakuda and Neighbors are must starts. Your question is, do you want to go with London or do you want to go with Hunt? I'm going to level with you. I could make a strong case for London. I really, really could. I also have never gone against a running back in a PPR league, but I will admit Hunt hasn't had a lot of receptions, but he's had over 20 carries and he scored every single time. So here's the thing. Nakuda and Neighbors, I think you have to start. The question is Hunt or London. I could see London having a big game against Dallas. I can see that. Brian, I don't recognize you, so with the awesome last name, I don't recognize you. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. My goal is to help you win your fantasy football league. I'd rather you not take my advice and win than take my advice and lose. I also, personal preference only. I say this a lot. It's what's your favorite flavor. Some people like chocolate. Some people like strawberries. Not really a wrong answer. It's personal preference. I love playing guys on Monday Night Football. I love playing guys on Monday Night Football. So I would go with Kareem Hunt. Another thing, Brian, I do Chiefs live reaction and play-by-play here on YouTube. I will be doing the Chiefs game live. I hope that you join me. In a perfect world, I'll have the live stream set up tonight, but with Thursday Night Football and Halloween, I don't know if I'll get to it. I would go with Kareem Hunt in the flex. You could be leaving some points on the board, but that's what I would do. Keep in mind, I'm a Chiefs fan. I like playing guys on Monday night. I like guys in the flex that I know are going to get me points. Hunt is definitely getting you points, and you also have some massive upside with Kuda and Neighbors. That would be my final thing. That said, it's hard to look at London. And I mean, I'm looking at London against a Dallas secondary, and knowing Dallas has to put up some points. So like, you have to put your foot on the gas pedal if you're Atlanta. Like if you get up 21 points, you can't just hand off to the running backs. So, Brian, let me know what you do and stay in touch. I hope to see you on Monday. And by the way, let's just say you whether you go with Hunt or not, I hope that going into Monday night, you already got your win locked up. Best of luck, brother. Pittman Jr. or D-Hop? Jeff, welcome back, brother. I hate to say this. because I said this last week and I was wrong, but you absolutely have to go with Pittman. You absolutely have to go with Pittman. You got Flacco. Here's the deal: the Vikings defense is really, really, really good. All right, I think the Vikings defense is better than the Bucks defense. And even though Darnold's having a better year statistically than Mahomes, let's face it, Mahomes is a better quarterback. All right. I still would go with I said Darnold. I don't know why I got Darnold. I'm sorry, I got my wires crossed. Okay, I got my wires crossed. I'm sorry. Flacco versus Mahomes. Okay, I'm sorry, I got my wires crossed. Forgive me. Look, Minnesota's going to put up some points against the bad Colts defense. Flacco's just going to get back there and just wing it. I personally believe that Hopkins will score a touchdown. I said the same thing last week. But you have no idea how much Hopkins is going to be involved. I think it's Pittman. I'll be honest with you. You could be laying some points down because I could see Hopkins, 6-7 catches, 50, 60 yards and a score, but that's your ceiling. Pittman could have 120 in a pair of touchdowns. And he may need to because Minnesota's going to put up some points against a terrible Colts defense. And they're at home. They're fully rested. So, I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. I'd go with Pittman Jr., even though I do believe Hopkins will get in the end zone. I said the same thing last week. Jeff, let me know what you do, brother. Yeah, I have to admit, yeah. T. Higgins might not play again this. Really? I didn't know this. I didn't know this. Quad injury. He's not practicing today. All right. There is a possibility he's on the trade deadline, and this is just kind of smoke. Teams do this. They might also be looking at the Raiders as a opportunity to, just make sure he's healthy. There is something to be said about this happening right at the trade deadline, though. So, but yeah, there's some things to read into that. So if you are thinking about starting Higgins, keep an eye out on this. So Love is not practicing. He could play. So I agree with that. Might have to put up a lineup of Wilson, Tillman, and Ladd. So here's the drill. I'm not sold on Ladd McConkey, but he's been really solid over the last couple of weeks. Really solid over the last couple of weeks. And I've been anti-Tillman. Or I'm sorry, anti-Ladd McConkey. I've liked Tillman actually, but he's been proving me wrong. Chase Brown might be a good option. I say this every week, but like with the Raiders pass rush, I could see Moss getting some more playing time, but I've been saying that for a while. Hawkinson may not play. I would go with Otten just because you have such an unknown with Hawkinson. So listen, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When I come back, I'll be back with hour 2 of Afternoon Delight. So stay tuned, everybody. I'll be back shortly. As Afternoon Delight is on a commercial break, we want to remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate of Dan Talks Football. I made my first $100 deposit and it was fast and easy, but check it out for yourself. The video is in the description below. Check out BetUS and start winning today. The award-winning NFL Week 9 picks video is out. Make sure you check it out. Not now, we're on commercial break, but after the show's over, check it out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to give me the thumbs up and ring the bell so you don't miss out on upcoming great videos and live streams. Now back to some more Afternoon Delight. Yes! All right. Happy Halloween, everybody. I apologize. I'm behind on comments, but I'm going to do everything I can. By the way, I'm not leaving until I answer every single comment. I don't care if it takes 5 hours. Maybe I do, but. Ricky B, what is up, brother? I'm starting to trust Dobbs more than Reed. Yeah, I'm not really sure which one the pick. I mean, I think Dobbs is more reliable. Reed's more explosive. If Malik Willis plays, I had somebody on my boy Keaton Talk Sports. He said, "Yeah, I could see the Packers winning with Malik Willis." I'm like, no. The Lions are a really good football team, but I can see that. I can see that. Ricky, I don't recognize you, man. So I hope to hear more from you, brother. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Oh, okay. You don't have to drop anybody, correct? Should I trade Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb for George Pickens? Sean Luke, what is up, my brother? I don't recognize you, so I hope to hear from you again. And please subscribe. God, that's a tough one. Because I think Pickens is a slam dunk. Number one receiver for the Steelers, and I also think his upside is through the roof. Russell Wilson's been proving me wrong. You have an unknown quantity in Cooper in Chubb. Now, I'm going to say no. Now, there's a lot of things I need to know. Okay, Sean. So I don't recognize you. So like I'm going to assume that you're not familiar with me and you don't know anything about me. I've had man crushes on Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb when they played at Alabama and Georgia, respectfully. Nick Chubb especially. I want to make sure I answer everybody's questions because I can rant about Nick Chubb forever. I still think Nick Chubb could potentially be a running back number one in fantasy football. Okay, I don't know if you're in a 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 man league, but there's a chance Nick Chubb can be the number one guy in your lineup, depending on the league that you're in. Okay. I think there's a good chance of Amari Cooper. Now, he's not going to be as productive as Pickens, but he could still be the number one guy in Buffalo. I think he's more probably at this point, probably more of a mid to low end wide receiver number 2 on your league. So I'll shooting from the hip, if you will. I don't like it, but I also don't know what the rest of your lineup's like. Do you really need a receiver and you're stacked on running back? Do you have like if you are like, hey Dan, you know what? I got Derrick Henry, I got James Cook, I got Najee Harris, I got J.K. Dobbins. I'm just throwing out some names of running backs I like. I got Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb's number 6. Then yeah, because I mean, but I'm just warning you that there's not. I have a hard time without knowing anything else. I have a hard time looking at a lineup because here's the deal: you could potentially be giving up a lot of points on a weekly basis for a guy who, while he's the number one guy in Pittsburgh's a run first offense. I'm assuming you're in a PPR league. I mean, Pickens is not getting the Antonio Brown type numbers. They are in Pittsburgh. Like, that's not happening. But is he going to be more productive than Cooper? Sure. There's a good chance Nick Chubb from here on out, in whether it's a PPR, if it's standard league, definitely could put up some more points. But I'm assuming you're in a PPR. But still, even though Chubb's never been a huge receiver, in a PPR league, there's a chance going forward for the rest of the year Chubb's more productive than Pickens. I need a little more information, but just shooting from the hip, no, you're giving up more than you're getting back. Let me throw this out. Also, is there a chance that if you are moving Chubb, I'm assuming you're stacked at running back. Whoever you're making this trade to, can you ask for another running back in return? And then even if you don't use that guy, maybe you can make another trade. Let me know what you decide to do, Sean. Hey, listen, Sean, I say this all the time. I'd rather you take my advice. I'd rather you not take my advice and win than take my advice and lose. So let me know what you do. Austin says, don't panic on Amari yet. I'd rather have Amari over Pickens rest of the season. Really? I would not, but you never know. If you really like Pickens over Amari, I would offer Amari for Pickens straight up. That's an interesting take. And this is the whole point of having this community, is that I like Pickens over Amari, but somebody else likes Amari over Pickens. This is never going to be a channel where everybody has to agree with me. I never want this to be an echo chamber. I've been a part of. There's a few YouTube channels that everybody has to agree with the host. This is never going to be that place. You can always tell me I'm wrong. Austin says Dan's wrong. I do like Pickens more than I like Amari, but here's the deal. Here's the deal, Sean. You have me and Austin disagreeing with this, and always ask for, the whole point of coming on here is this is also the place to gloat, Sean. So I hope to hear from you again. Unfortunately, next week I won't be on, but I'll post some stuff in the community tab on YouTube. I'll try to get some clips because I have some personal matters I have to attend to next week. So, but I hope to hear from you again, Sean, and I hope that I hear that you won, whether you take my advice or not. Dan the man, Curtis Martin fan from God. I one of these. So in the past, I've had some old school. I've had some old school retro shows in the past, and I want to do that this off season where I go back in NFL history and talk about players. And Curtis Martin's one of my all-time favorite players. Oh, this is a great question. Which defenses do you think I should pick up? I have the Chargers defense. That's a good one. And then in another league, I got the Texans defense. Who do you think I should add? This is a great question. I'm going just this week only. New England against Tennessee. I like Tennessee. Looks like a disaster, and the Patriots look like they could be really good. The Saints defense against a Panthers offense that is, you have no idea what to expect. Bryce Young, I think, has looked better, but that's still not bad. You can go Washington's defense. I'll be honest with you, I really like the Chargers, and also like the Browns defense too, believe it or not. I like the Browns defense, period. JOK is not playing, so all those two. I'm gonna level with you. I'm kind of a believer in Winston. I think he's doing something. I think he's adding something. I kind of want to say Washington's defense is solid, but you're playing against New York. They're coming off Monday night. You could get something there. I am a Chiefs fan. I am a Chiefs fan, but full disclosure, I think that this Monday night game is going to be a nail biter. I really do. I just got a feeling. I just got a feeling. I hope I am wrong, but I got a weird feeling. I will tell you this: Kansas City's not a bad defense pickup. Not wildly productive. I want to tell you Buffalo, but with Tua coming back and there's some unknowns there. They've been wildly productive. A lot of sacks, a lot of turnovers. I was ranting about the Bears defense earlier. I'll be honest with this Chicago Arizona game. I'm really excited to watch. I do like the Bears defense, but I have no idea what to expect. So, if you're talking about, like I said, I like New England this week. I do like them for the rest of the season. Keep in mind with Drake May, he's had some explosive plays offensively, a little wild, a little reckless, and then there's problems like. And the reason why I say that is anytime you like, let's say for example, you have a turnover or you're wildly inconsistent, then that creates problems for the defense. Like for example, I think the Chiefs have one of the best defenses in the National Football League, but they're not really good fantasy wise, and also because Mahomes has been throwing a lot of interceptions, more interceptions than touchdowns. That's affected things. So, but those are two really good defenses. So, yeah, Neighbors blew up. I really think Neighbors is a good play. I'm not sold on Washington's defense at all. I do like Washington's matchup though at New York on a short week with Andrew Thomas not in there. That's a big deal. A lot of people don't realize Andrew Thomas may have been playing the best. He might be the best left tackle in football before he went down. Might. By the way, we didn't even talk about Cam Robinson being traded from the Jags to Minnesota. It's really rare. Now, keep in mind, Cam Robinson was benched, but I mean, I remember him coming out of Alabama, and I had a first round grade on him. He went in the second round. I remember his rookie season. He played lights out, and then he had some injury issues, and this play just hasn't been there. But kind of curious how things will work out with him in Minnesota, because you could see an uptick in offensive performance. Neighbors had all those points, but he also had maybe the best left tackle protecting Daniel Jones. How are things going to be this time? Does Washington decide, hey, you know what, we'll take Neighbors out of the game, and you beat us with Tyrone Tracy, who may not play? I haven't checked on that yet, and I should have. But maybe you want to say, hey, look, beat us with Slayton and Robinson. But that said, I mean, they target him no matter what. And I will admit, I like Dable's an offensive mind. And I've been saying this too quite a bit. Like, the Giants are much better than a 2-win team. Like this is a much better team than the 2 wins. But I don't see them winning this week. But still, they're better than a 2-win team. He's still banged up. It's questionable. But again, I can't emphasize this enough. I just have ESPN pulled up because it's easy for me to kind of look over everything. It's not the best source. 1 hour ago per ESPN, a limited participant in practice. I'm going to level with you, Jeff. There's no real answer to this. Here's the drill. If you have Bigsby, I would play him. And the reason why is that I really believe the way that this game is going to work out, Philly is going to put some points up. Okay? Philly is definitely going to put some points up. You're going to have to respond with points. If Jacksonville gets down by 4 touchdowns, you're going to see more Bigsby than ETN. All right. If it's a close game, then you could see some ETN, but you'll need Bigsby for the short yardage stuff. Do I think this is a great play? You probably might. I remember seeing you. I think you've posted your roster in before. I don't know your whole lineup off the top of my head. I apologize. I do think it's a solid play, though. whether Etienne's back or not. Because, look, you're going to have to put up some points to beat Philly. This is not going to be a 10-7 game, all right? Philly is going to put some points against you. The thing is, I could see Jacksonville just falling apart, like get down by 3 touchdowns and just quit. If that's the case, Bigsby is going to get a lot of playing time. Do you remember earlier this year, Buffalo played Miami as week 2? Buffalo won 31-10. They pulled their starters, and Achane had a monster game. You could see something like that. You could also see, like in a close game, maybe Etienne gets more touches in a closer game, but down in the red zone, you'll see Bigsby. So I like Bigsby, but keep in mind Etienne could eat into some of his touches. I still think out of the two this week, I think Bigsby will get more touches whether Etienne plays or not. So we'll keep an eye out on this. But yeah, limited. He had a good game, man. That was a great game. Oh, David B., what is up, brother? I don't recognize you, so I hope you hit the subscribe button. Trade away Kupp, Ridley, and Addison for BTJ and Olave PPR. This is interesting. This is really interesting because you have Ridley, who's the number 1 guy in Tennessee, had a great game last week. Tennessee's a disaster, so you have like a complete unknown quantity in Ridley. I mean, you're stuck with him. You give him this monster contract. Nobody's going to eat that contract. So Addison's the number 2 guy, but he's wildly productive. Kupp, I mean, honestly, you have no idea. Brian Thomas Jr. and Olave have massive, massive, massive upsides. Okay? You have an unknown quarterback situation with the Saints. I mean, if they go back to Rattler, Carr, by the way, I think Olave could have a good game. I think it's a sneaky good pick against Carolina. But you have no idea because Carr's been out for a while. I'm not a big fan of 3-for-2 trades. And bottom line, the one thing is that the one thing I will say that I like is that I think Brian Thomas Jr. is the number 1 guy and Olave is the number 1 guy. Ridley's a number 1, and I think Kupp's a number 2 now for the Rams. Addison is clearly the number 2 guy. I don't hate this trade. I mean, you're giving up bigger names, but, I'll be honest with you, like just for this week and going forward, you may get more production out of Brian Thomas Jr. and Olave. This is a tough one. Let me throw something else out there because I don't like the 3-for-2 option, but I do think that you're getting some solid players, though. Is there any possibility you can ask for something more? Get a third player, get a running back, or is this you got these 3 guys and somebody asked for, or are you proposing this because I would like to see you get a third player. I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of like it because I'll be honest with you. The Brian Thomas Jr. is kind of a boom or bust. I mean, Philly's defense is good. You're at Philly. What you're hoping for is that you get on the board early or you don't quit. Okay. Olave production is going to go up, but look, Addison's a good play. I'm not going to lie, he's a good play. In Kupp, even though I think he's the number 2 guy, he could still be a number 1 guy in fantasy. Look, these are big names, Kupp, Ridley, and Addison. So I'm going to do the weenie thing. I'm not giving you a real answer. I don't hate this trade, to be honest with you. It's risky, but whoever you're trading with, I'm I think you can get more. Can you get a third player? Is that an option? Because I don't hate this trade because you could have something special with Brian Thomas Jr. and Olave's production may skyrocket. But you're giving away some. Addison has some. Addison's more valuable than Olave up to this point. I think going forward, Olave will be. Ridley, does Mason Rudolph play really well this week and Ridley's value keeps going up? Maybe. Cooper Kupp, I honestly, I do like Cooper Kupp this week against Seattle. Like if you were to play, so here's the deal. If you were to play Cooper Kupp and Addison this week versus Brian Thomas Jr. and Olave, this week you may get more points out of Kupp and Addison. But I think going forward, you'd be better off with Brian Thomas Jr. and Olave. With Ridley, I understand why you want to get rid of him because you probably didn't play him last week when he went for 144, and you're like, because he hasn't done anything. He's a big name, and you're selling high. So I'd like to see you get more. I don't hate this trade, though. I wish I can give you a yes or no answer. I don't recognize you, so maybe you didn't hear it earlier. It's kind of like, what's your favorite flavor, chocolate or strawberry, you know? I'd like to see, can you just do me a favor? I know it took me a while to get to you, but I will answer your question. Can you get anything more? And let me know. By the way, can I see the rest of your lineup? All right, Curtis Martin fan for life, man. I'm sorry, Brand. I do like players on Monday night. I really, 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 really like players on Monday night. That's why I like McMillan. I also, with Arizona, you have kind of an unknown quantity on defense. Like some weeks they're lights out, other weeks they're so. It's weird. And another thing is that you really don't know. I love Keenan Allen. I have a man crush on Keenan Allen. This is tough. I'll be honest with you. Like with Allen or Oduzze, you're just flipping a coin on which one. I mean, you have no idea. I mean, you really don't. I mean, I mean, this is just kind of risky. Either way. Now, Keenan Allen, when he's healthy, I still think he's a stud. But last week against Washington, 2 carries, 39 yards. All right. Rumaduzze last week, 3 for 41. I'm gonna level with you. I like Arizona's defense more than I like Washington's. That's not popular opinion. And by the way, you'll probably have, like, if you ask 5 people, you probably get all 5 of them will tell you that Washington's got a better defense, better record. But I'm not of that opinion. So I'll be honest with you, you can go coin flip between those two. I like McMillan. I really do. The Chiefs, the one thing about the Chiefs defense, if you're not aware, Jalen Watson went down. He's out for the year, so the Chiefs have kind of been struggling opposite McDuffie. They're not going to put McDuffie on McMillan for the whole game. The Chiefs have also been lights out against running backs. Look, in order for Tampa to make this a game, they're going to have to throw the ball. And somebody besides Otten's going to have to make some plays. So I do like McMillan. I really do. Allen and Oduzze, you literally could flip a coin. I'm not a fan of either one, to be honest with you, but I would go with Oduzze, and I can't believe I'm saying this because with Oduzze, you have more potential. All right. Look, with Keenan Allen, there's a chance you get, 5 catches, 40 yards, and 2 touchdowns. With Oduzze, there's a chance you get that 8 for 125 and 1 or 2. At this point in his career and with the way the offense has been playing, like Keenan Allen's not going to just, run wild anymore. Oduzze could. I have been such a huge Keenan Allen fan. It pains me to say this, but I would go with the upside with Oduzze, and I would go with McMillan. These aren't great options, so but let me know how you do, brother. This is interesting. Ali, what's up, brother? Should I trade away London and Wicks to gain more Downs and Myers? I actually like this. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I like the matchup with London this week, and DJ Moore. I just got done saying you don't know, but DJ Moore's the number one guy currently in Chicago. I'm not a huge DJ Moore fan as far as fantasy is concerned. Player wise, I love him. Fantasy wise, I think he's a 2. So like, here's the drill. Let me just break this down. You got 3 2s. All right. You got 3 2s, and you're giving away a 1, but London, after that big game against Tampa Bay, we were going through his numbers earlier. I do think he could have a big game, but he's not really the dude. Okay. Wicks, you have no idea. I mean, he'll have that week where he does really well, but you don't know if Love's playing. I mean, there's so much inconsistency. With Myers and Downs, you have nothing but upside, especially with Downs. I'm assuming you're in a PPR. All right. Here's why I like this move. Okay. You have a chance that more Downs and Myers one of those 3 is going to have a big game. All right. You make this move, you have an opportunity now because you're getting 3 solid 2s. You can make another trade. I really like this. Keep in mind, out of these 3, I'm banking on Downs having a good game against Minnesota. Even though I love Minnesota's defense, I think Minnesota's going to put up some points, and I think Flacco's just going to go back. Flacco could have 4 picks, but he could also have 3 touchdowns and 400 yards. What do you care? Because he's going to hit. Moore's probably. Downs. I'm sorry. Downs could be the guy that gets like 10 to 15 targets. And they also like to use him in the backfield. They can get a little creative with him, but his value is high. Myers' value could get really high. I know he's been banged up, but and the Raiders' offense is terrible. But no, I like it. I think you win this trade, and even though you're not getting, like, DJ Moore's on number 1 and is the number 1 guy in Chicago. London's the number 1 guy in Atlanta. I get that. Production, London's for the whole year higher, but the last couple of weeks production's been almost the same. Downs and Myers production, I could see going up. Wicks, you have an unknown. Also like 3 for 2 because you have some options to make some trades in the future. If you do make this move, let me know. And depending on your lineup, I out of these 3, I kind of like Downs. Again, I like guys, in primetime games, play on Sunday night. I think Downs could have a big game. Let me know what you do, brother. Oh, okay. Sean, you have CeeDee Lamb. Okay, so you're new here. CeeDee Lamb is my number 1 fantasy football receiver. I did not know you had that. So let's kind of review this a little bit. Okay, so you want to get another number 1. This makes a lot of sense. Okay. I really still don't want you to make this move, and the reason why is because I think you have a lot of value with Chubb. So here's the deal: because you have some steady production out of Lamb, you can have some unknown quantities with Cooper and Chubb. I don't want you to make that move. So yeah, I think so too. Charlie Green, what's up, brother? I don't recognize you. It's such a cool name. Start Carr or Darnold. I look, you have to go with Darnold. You have an unknown with Derek Carr coming back from injury. He may not even play the whole game. He could get hit and leave the game. Darnold's playing against a bad defense. 10 days rest at home. Yeah, you got to go with Darnold, even though you're playing against it. Seriously, Derek Carr is a sneaky good pick this week. I mean, Carolina's defense is terrible. That injury is a weird issue. You could have a situation where Carr only plays the first couple series, and then the injury reaggravates, and you have to put in Rattler. So go with Darnold. You could be you really could be giving up some points, but I think Darnold is almost a lock to get you 20 this week. So I would go with Darnold. You could be in a weird situation where hey, I need to roll the dice and get 50 points, and maybe you want to go a Carr, but seriously, I would go with Darnold. I think you're a lock to get at least 20, and Darnold could have that game where hey, look, we're just going to run up the score here. Austin says, yeah, if you like Pickens more, go for it. And by the way, I do. For me, it's just what his chances Amari Cooper's target share and targets will stay this low. I just don't think it will. Yeah, and by the way, he's got a good point. Amari Cooper's value is going to go up. The thing is that I don't like about the trade is that you're giving up Nick Chubb, who has a possibility to be your starting running back. You have CeeDee Lamb, and then Cooper is going to be solid. If you have a guy like CeeDee Lamb who's getting you steady production, I would want a number two who's getting you a guaranteed, 10 points a game with the potential to get you 15, 20, because Amari Cooper is the type of guy that at this point in his career is more likely to get you 5 to 6 for 60, but he'll get you that touchdown more often than not. Who you looking at in the red zone? You're looking at a guy like Cooper more, and you're looking like Keon Coleman or Shakir. Just that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Buffalo does like to run the ball, but Pittsburgh's a run-heavy team too. Look, I hate the idea of you giving up Chubb because you have a guy in Nick Chubb with a backup quarterback, and an offensive line that's getting healthier. I think Chubb could be one of those guys that you're looking at. If you get rid of him, I think you could really regret. I mean, even if Pickens does outperform Amari Cooper, I just don't want you giving up Chubb. That's just my opinion. By the way, Sean, again, I can rant about how much I loved Nick Chubb going back to him being a true freshman at Georgia, taking over for Todd Gurley. I had such a man crush on him. So, Ricky, I'm glad you did, man. Thank you so much. This means a lot. Gucci Rooster, what a great name. Please, I hope that you're back from you just for the name. Full PPR pick one to start. Mayfield, Mahomes are cousins. Would have to drop Cousins for Mahomes. I drafted Mahomes and dropped in week 3. Nobody picked him up. That's very interesting. I would I can't believe I'm saying this, but I would roll with Cousins this week. I don't have a lot of confidence in Dallas's defense. Micah Parsons. Let's take a look here. I'm almost positive Micah Parsons isn't playing. You're at home. Look, you're at home. You got a lot of weapons. You got to put up some points. I'm reading directly from ESPN, not the best source. 3 hours ago, Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy said Thursday that Parsons' ankle is quote unquote not quite there yet. When asked about the star pass rusher's chances of suiting up Sunday against the Falcons, Ian Rappaport, the NFL Network, reports. So, I mean, you have your best defensive player in Dallas out. Okay. This is a big game. for both teams. Both teams. I by the way, I love Atlanta's secondary. Maybe one of the best secondaries in football, but they've had some performances that have been lackluster. Look, Dallas is going to put up some points. Okay, let's just be honest. You're at home. You got weapons. You're playing against a team that's struggling defensively. I think you have to go Cousins. Look, I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm itching to tell you that this is the week that you want to start Mahomes, and he's not going to throw an interception this time. I really think Cousins would be the best play here. And by the way, I love that you kept Baker Mayfield. I don't hate Baker Mayfield today either. The Chiefs defense has been very good stopping the run. I know your receivers are hurt, but you have some talent, and you're going to have to throw the ball. So I like the fact you got two guys. I can't believe nobody picked up Mahomes, but yeah, I would go with Cousins this week. Gucci, let me know what you do, and I hope to hear back from you. Oh, okay. You would be dropping Bigsby. You have Chase Brown, Walker, Bajan, and Hunt. No. I'm sorry, Austin. I forget who it was, but don't drop Bigsby. At least not just yet. I'm here to help, brother. Starting Gibbs in my flex, Tillman, wide receiver number 2, Kamara and Hunt. Also starting Chase, wide receiver number 1. Also starting Hurts. Nice. Very nice. Hurts could have a big game. The only thing I worry about with Hurts is that do they jump up to a 21-0 lead, and in the fourth quarter it's Kenny Pickett playing. That's the only thing I'd worry about. I love this lineup. I love it. Flex options: Bigsby, D Hop, or Dottle. Full PPR. That's a tough one, man. Dottle missing last week was a little weird. I like D Hop this week to score, but I said the same thing last week. I have a hard time really. I have a hard time though really endorsing D Hop for a second straight week because I mean seriously, I could easily see 5-6 catches, 50, 60 yards, and a score. I keep on saying I don't like Dottle, and he keeps being productive. I would roll with Bigsby, and the reason why I say that is I know ETN may or may not play. Look, Philly's going to score some points, man. I mean, there's no question. That's a terrible defense. I think you're going to have to put up some points in return. Now, there is a chance. Here's why I like it. There's a chance Philly gets up and they fold. In that case, Bigsby could get 20-plus touches in a blowout win by Philly. In a tight game, you're going to get more red zone touches over ETN. Dottle's interesting because the only issue I have against Dottle is that when he didn't play, they activated Cook. It leads me to believe that they're not happy with him. He didn't play last week, so I would go with one of the running backs. The Dowdle situation, I mean, he could have a great game. I mean, he really could, but I would roll with Bigsby here. And I feel pretty confident about that. That said, the Dowdle situation is weird. Wouldn't surprise me if he has a good game. I do expect D-Hop to get in the end zone. I look, you're on Monday night. The crowd will go electric. But you have such an unknown. I mean, I said he get in the end zone last week, but he have like 2 or 3 catches. So, David, this is good advice. this is good advice, but I will say this, man. I want to know a little bit of your. Oh God, you got some play. Wow, holy crap! Cooper Kupp, Amon Ra. Oh wow, you got Ladd at the flex. Okay, and you can get Ray Davis. That's not bad. Okay, so I've been anti-Ladd, but he's been proving me wrong. Hey man, I'm helping, man. Thank you so much, man. I love this. Yeah, oh God, that's a tough one. All right. Waiver wire, who's available? I doubt Tank Dell's available. We talked about McMillan earlier. What about Polk from the Patriots? His production could go up. I doubt DeAndre Hopkins is going to be available. Were you? Did I miss this? Oh, this is why. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So in your situation, make this trade. Yeah. You need some. Yeah, you need some receivers probably. All right. Okay. You throw in Ray Davis. I like a lot because if Cook goes down, he instantly becomes a running back 2, maybe even a running back 1. So I do like this. Let me see if I can find your trade. All right. Oh God. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna star this because I may miss it. The way the tool is, David. I'm a one-man show. So I don't have assistants doing this. Because I would really kind of like to put this on like a separate screen and look at this in a little more detail. But so Connor and Brown, I like the idea of adding Ray Davis. The reason why I like to add in Ray Davis is especially this week, if Buffalo blows out Miami, Ray Davis could get some touches. Last week, 6 carries, 29 yards, no catches. But against the Jets, without Cook, 20 carries, 97 yards, 3 receptions, 55 yards. All right. I get Ray Davis, okay? As much as I've hated Ladd McConkey, he's as much as I hated Ladd McConkey and I'm an anti him, he's been solid. But you have Amon Ra. All right. So you have Amon Ra. Now, Addison's solid and Kupp is solid, okay? Addison's college. I mean, you got some solid dudes, man. I mean, you really do. But where was this at? You got your number one guy in Amon Ra, and you got a guy in Ladd with some potential. So I kind of like this. Brian Thomas Jr. and or Olave, you can do something here. But yeah, I like it because you got some look, Brian Thomas Jr. and Ladd, you have some youth. You have some I like it. You're banking on upside, but you have some steady production with Amon Ra. Lamar's a fantasy football MVP. Get Ray Davis, right? You're hoping Chase Brown and Connor can be productive. I'll be honest with you. You have some tough matchups there. So normally I'm not a fan of, I'd normally want to 3 down back and said, Amon Ra, make the trade, get Ray Davis, because if Ray Davis, by the way, if James Cook, when he went down, Ray Davis wildly productive, also had a man crush on them. So Yeah. I mean, look, you got some steady production out of Lamar and Amon-Ra. As much as I've hated Ladd, he's been productive. So Brian Thomas Jr. could be a star in Olave's production. To be honest with you, Olave may be a better flex than Ladd this week. But yeah, make the move. Let me know what you end up doing. At least that would be my recommendation. Sisu, my German brother. Sorry, I'm behind on comments, man. Yo, what's up, Irvin or White? I believe with the Tracy concussion, he would be a fall off. Both matchups are tough because the Chiefs have been tough against the running backs all year. I could see a situation where White and Irving play a lot at the same time, and Irving will play some at receiver. Every time I've watched, I've been at the beginning of the year, I was like, no, it's got to be White. Irvin's not there. You have a veteran head coach, but the offense looks so much better with Irving in than White. All right, all right. So I'm gonna say just the opposite. I like White. The reason why, I really believe that they're going to use Rachaad White more as a receiver. You're in a PPR league, if I remember correctly, so you're going to get more points this week than with White than Irving. White's also a little fun fact here. Rachaad White's from Kansas City. He played high school football in a place called Raytown, which is like 15 minutes away from Arrowhead Stadium. A little fun fact. But not out of these two, I think Rachaad. The offense looks better with Irving. Don't get me wrong. I think the way that they're going to operate this game is have Rachaad White, like during the motion him out of the backfield. I think he's going to have a lot of catches this week. So I'm leaning towards White this week. Keep in mind, both running backs against Kansas City have been not playing well. I would still go with Tracy if Tracy plays, but keep an eye. And by the way, if you want to say, hey, look, I'm just going to go with White or Irving. Also, Sisu, I like guys on Monday night. So Hall or Cup flex, pick one. Listen, Jose, welcome back, brother. I like 3 down running backs, and I think Hall's going to have a game. I like the Cup matchup against a bad. I think they're bad. I'm not sold on Seattle's defense at all. So I like Hall. Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, you're not playing Ridley. You're not playing Addison. You have some steady points every week with Amon-Ra and Lamar Jackson. Brian Thomas Jr. could have a monster game, and Olave could be a better option in the flex. However, Ladd McConkey's been productive. So yeah, I'm the same way. I think Olave going forward is value just skyrockets. So I like it. Oh, you got Mixon too, huh? And you have Aaron Jones. All right. God, that is so tough. I love Aaron Jones against the Colts defense. I really do. The Jets defense has been bad. It's a short week. It's a primetime game. I think the Diggs injury kind of affects Houston a little more. Full disclosure, I mean, look, you're already going with Hall. I like guys on Sunday and Monday night. I would go with Jones and I would go with Hall. Let me know what you end up doing, Jose. That would be my recommendation. Shades 721, and they are cool shades. Rodgers, Tua, or Williams? That's a tough one. Okay. I know Williams could have a great game. He could have a bad game. It's kind of fun. I can't wait to watch this game. I really can't. This is going to be fun. I like the winner, especially if it's Arizona. I love seeing the first place Arizona Cardinals. It's a lot of fun for me. So I can't wait to watch the game. I don't want to bank on Caleb Williams though. All right. Tua at Buffalo. I can't sign off. I know that it's bitten me in the butt a lot. I like Rodgers tonight. I really do. I've been saying this for a couple. I said the same thing last week. They'll turn it around against the terrible Patriots like easily, but I really think this is like the week. I mean, I think Houston with losing Diggs, I think it's going to be an emotional shock. So I like Rodgers this week. I Tua at Buffalo, and Williams at Air. And by the way, out of the three, the most upside, I think is Caleb Williams against Arizona. I mean, Arizona's been a weird up and down type of team. I'm not high on Williams. I could see Williams getting frustrated by what could be kind of a confusing, fun defense there in Arizona with Tua. I don't want to play Tua against Buffalo. Tua, by the way, could like, hey, look, this is my week. I'm fresh. I'm healthy. I'd go Rodgers. PPR Andrews. This is Optim 18. Welcome back, brother. If I'm wait a minute, there's somebody else on Twitch at 18 at the end. I thought you were him, but I don't. You're on YouTube, so if you're new, please hit subscribe. To me, this is I would easily go Schultz, and the reason why I'd go with Schultz is that Diggs is out. The Jets defense hasn't been good. Andrews, I know, has been productive, but I'm going to level with you. I don't know if you can bank on that. Plus, the Denver defense has been really good this year. So I like Schultz pretty easily here. Now, keep in mind, I'm not anti-Andrews. Definitely not anti-Andrews, but I think you have some massive upside with Schultz. Yeah, I mean, before the season started, I would have told you Schultz is a great tight end to play and hasn't really panned out like that. But yeah, I do like Schultz. Joey, what's up, man? I don't recognize you either. Please hit the subscribe button. Same thing. I think Schultz due for a good game. Hawkinson is I don't even know if he's going to play. Let's take a look. I'm going to go to ESPN. He's not on the injury report per ESPN, so it looks like he's active. But here's the deal. Like, I love the matchup. First of all, you're playing against a terrible Colts defense. I think you're going to put up a lot of points against the Colts. First game back from injury, you have some unknown. All right. Look, what else? Who else is CJ Stroud going to go to? You have an unknown in either, but I still like Schultz tonight. I mean, honestly, you never really know. I mean, if he comes back and he's 100%, like Hawkins. Here's the deal. This week, I would go with Schultz. Probably going forward, Hawkinson every other week, and I wouldn't even think twice about it. But this week, this matchup, I would go Schultz. Houdini, welcome back, brother. Just traded Cook and Mooney for Breece Hall and Dobbs. Thoughts? Well, it's kind of funny because you traded two running backs that I like both of them quite a bit. I like Cook and I like Hall. One thing I like about Hall is that he's bigger. Currently the number one receiver on the Jets team. I'm a huge Breece Hall fan, but I also like James Cook. I like the fact that they're running the ball a little more in Buffalo. The question is Mooney for Dobbs. Now, keep in mind if Jordan Love doesn't play, I'm going to be like, no. And Mooney could have a huge game this week. I mean, they're getting him a little more involved. What you're hoping for in this trade is that Dobbs kind of gets that niche, because the one thing about the Green Bay receivers is that you just don't know what you're going to get. Now, let's take a look at Dobbs' numbers here, because I'll be honest with you, like out of the guys here, I like Dobbs. I really do. I like Watson as number more. I like Watson. Reed's so up and down, but the upside's potential. The upside's amazing. Watson would be the number one, but Watson's been injured, banged up. You also have a great tight end in Tucker Kraft. Luke Musgrave's on the IR, but keep in mind when he comes back, you're going to have some. Okay, well, ESPN's not doing it today. Okay, that's fantastic. I literally went to the stats for Romeo Dobbs, and ESPN just said not available. Let me see if I can, let me do this here. That is fantastic. Great job, ESPN website. Let me go to another source here, because I want to go over the numbers, because you were the one telling me about Dobbs targets, and I like that. Let's get some numbers here. Let's get some numbers and take a look here, because I want to go over this, because basically I think Cook and Hall is a push. I like all right, let me see if I can do this on this website. Basically it's the Mooney for Dobbs. That's kind of what you're looking at. Okay. Last 3 weeks, he didn't play against the Rams. Six targets, 10 targets, and 4 targets. Now, the good news is that 4 targets, 3 receptions, 49 yards, 2 touchdowns. Only 2 touchdowns of the year, but that's okay. The 10 targets against Houston was 8 catches, 94 yards, and then Jacksonville 3 catches, 72 yards. All right, so here's the positive. The last 3 weeks, you're getting consistent targets, a little more than I thought. Receptions aren't bad. The last 3 weeks, 14 receptions. That's almost 5 a game. That's solid. You also have 2 touchdowns, both of them in the same game, still solid. Receiving yards hasn't cracked over 100. Probably not getting that. And I know for a fact Mooney has a 100-yard game this year. But the thing is, though, is that they're finally figuring out that Kyle Pitts might be the greatest athlete on the team, you know. Mooney, 36 catches, 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns, a little more productive. Last 3 games, 5 targets, 8 targets, and 6 targets. A little more targeted. 86 and a touchdown, 4 catches, 86 yards and a touchdown, 546, 0, 338, 0. Fewer catches, about the same yards, 1 fewer touchdown, but 4 touchdowns for the year. 'll be honest with you, it's a push. What you're banking on is Hall's production over Cook, and that Hall's going to get those rushing touchdowns. Versus Josh Allen last year led the team in rushing touchdowns. I think he had 15 rushing touchdowns. I mean, Josh Allen, or is that? No, I got my players mixed up. That was Jalen Hurts. So what you're banking on, Hall is a little more productive than Cook. He's a bigger running back, a little more productive, but you do have Braylon Allen. And I do think they'll throw the ball a little more, which benefits Breece Hall. Houdini, I'll be honest with you. I think ultimately it's a push. I've said this a lot. It's what's your favorite flavor, chocolate or strawberry? And there's no real wrong answer. I don't hate this trade. I don't think you won. I don't think you lost. I think it's a big push. Sorry, man. It's not really the answer I know you wanted to hear. Guys, I had to take a quick commercial break. I'll come back with more Afternoon Delight, so stay tuned. As Afternoon Delight is on a commercial break, we want to remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate of Dan Talks Football. I made my first $100 deposit and it was fast and easy, but check it out for yourself. The video is in the description below. Check out BetUS and start winning today. The award-winning NFL Week 9 picks video is out. Make sure you check it out. Not now, we're on commercial break, but after the show's over, check it out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to give me the thumbs up and ring the bell so you don't miss out on upcoming great videos and live streams. Now back to some more Afternoon Delight. Yes! All right. 2 hours in the books. Hour 3 is coming up. I apologize. It is a one-man show, so I'm doing everything the best I can to get through all your comments and questions as fast as possible. I will not leave tonight until every single question is answered. But I'm going to try to speed things up. Sean, man, hey, thank you so much. I apologize for taking so long. Since I own should I trade Tillman or hold him as well? 12-man full PPR league, so I'm thinking towards holding. I would hold him. And by the way, about trading Chubb, you have no guarantee on CMC, so hold off. Pollard, I like quite a bit, and Gibbs I like. So I mean, here's the deal: you have some trade capital, but still, do me a favor, hold on to Chubb because he could easily be the best out of these. You may be in a situation you may have Chubb and CMC. You Amon-Ra, if I remember right, you had Amon-Ra and no, I'm sorry, crap. Oh no. You had CeeDee Lamb. Jesus. Yeah. Hold off. Please do me a favor. Do me a favor. Can you hold off for 1 week? All right. And then here's the thing: hold off for 1 week. CMC comes back. Find out if he's going to play next week or not. You. By the way, and I like Pollard quite a bit. So you're in good shape. All right, so Austin's higher on it. I gave you a push, and Austin said you cooked. This is why. Yeah, exactly. Gucci Rooster. I like it. I like it. I'm glad you're going. I'm pulling for you. I get it. I mean, no, I get it completely. I really do, and I get why you would want to do it. But let me tell you something. I understand, but you have something that's really unknown, and I would kind of hold off on that because look, you're playing against a tough Chargers defense. Do me a favor because I don't think you're in panic mode yet because you got something potentially that's great. Can you hold off this week and see how Tillman and Chubb play against a good Chargers defense? And if both these guys have a productive game against the Chargers and the Chargers are kind of in a must-win type of situation, okay? All right. Keep in mind, Cleveland's probably just writing off their season. They're 2-6. The Chargers, if the playoffs were to start today, are the 7 seed. And they're probably trying to psych themselves up. Who we can catch the Chiefs. Chiefs. But they're still a legit, if the playoffs were to end, they would be the 7th seed. All right? Denver is 5-3, and they're probably thinking, hey, we can beat Denver. Okay? Do me a favor. If you don't want to, I would not be mad at you in the slightest. I hope to hear back from you. By the way, it's unusual. I have some very unusual things going on in my personal life. Next week I won't be on, but I'll put some stuff in the comments. You can follow me on social media. You can go old school, email me, dantalksfootball@yahoo.com. I will get back to you. All right. Hold off 1 week. If Tillman and Chubb are solid, all right, I'll find a way to get back all of you in the comments, community tab, one way or another. When CMC comes fresh off the bye, if you have Chubb and you have Tillman, their trade value, even with bad weeks, really isn't going to drop. You could probably make this trade next week. The thing is, though, next week, you may be like, why the hell do I want Pickens when I have Chubb and Tillman? As far as Cooper, that's also interesting. Can you hold off? Because when if against a bad Dolphins team, he has a couple touchdowns. His value doesn't go anywhere because he's a big name going on a team that's getting a lot of publicity. So do me a favor. I know you want to make a move right now. For me, I'm asking. And if you say, nah, screw you, Dan, I'm not going to be mad at you because I'd rather you not listen to me and win than listen to me and lose. Hold off for 1 week and see what you got with Tillman and Chubb. Because with CMC coming back, if he comes back into your lineup, you can do something really big then. And this trade's not going to go anywhere. I'm assuming you're just spitballing. This wasn't offered to you. You're trying to get a deal so you can get that next number one guy. I get it. Hold off 1 week, please. And even though I won't be live next week, I will be available. And I'll put some stuff out on YouTube. I won't be going live for 3 hours. Donovan, what's up, brother, man? I don't recognize you, so please hit the subscribe button. Is Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith for Puka a good trade? That is a very interesting question. Shoot from the hip. I like it because Puka looks to be a dominant one. Wilson was a 1, still has a lot of value, and Smith's always going to be a 2. I can't give you a yes or no answer, though. I need a little more information. If you have a solid 1 and these guys aren't starting for you, absolutely. If you got one, I called the big 3 in fantasy football. In this order, I would have CD Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. The second tier, I would probably go Amon-Ra and then A.J. Brown. If you have like one of those 5 and Wilson's probably a 2, Devontae Smith sitting on your bench, and Puka can come and be that guy. So you have 2 number 1s. Yeah. If you're starting both Wilson and Smith and you're just, you don't have good depth, then I wouldn't do it. And I'm not a fan of 2-for-1 trades, but this situation could work out. It's risky because I think Wilson's going to have a decent game tonight. And here's another thing. You probably want to make this trade now. I was talking to somebody earlier in the chat. He made the trade for Breece Hall, and it's not going through till tomorrow. I don't know what kind of a league you're in. Can you make the trade now and that guy can play Wilson tonight? Or if you make the trade, you got to wait. This is kind of important because Wilson, if he gets in the end zone tonight, even if he doesn't have a good game, like let's just say 4 for 30, but he gets in the end zone, his value goes up. Maybe you could ask for Puka and a running back or something. Can't give you a great answer, but just instant gut reaction, yes, if one of these guys is on your bench. Donovan, I hope let me know, and I apologize for taking so long. Njoku, Hawkinson, or Otten Potato Juice 4811. Hope to hear back from you, brother. What a cool name. Hawkinson, you have an unknown quantity. Njoku's going against a really tough defense. All right. Chiefs defense is really good, but out of all these, I like Otten the best. Now, here's the deal. You're in a really good situation. You got 3 really good tight ends to choose from. All right. All 3 of these guys I like. Hawkinson, because he's coming back from an injury, unknown quantity, he could have 8 catches, 80 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. By the way, all 3 of these guys could do that. Hawkinson has the best matchup. The only reason I would not take Hawkinson is I have no idea how he'll respond back from an injury. That's the only problem. Otten and Njoku are going against tough defenses, but I think both of them will be productive. I really, really, really believe that. Yeah, I'm going to level with you, Potato Juice 4811. You really don't have a bad option. I like playing guys on prime time, so like Sunday night or Monday night. My preference would be Monday night. So let me know what you do. But I would go with Otten. But that might be me liking guys on Monday night. Hawkinson probably has the most upside. It's just the injury issue really scares me. So Deontay Johnson might be a disappointing pickup for. Oh, absolutely. Jeffrey, thanks for coming in, man. Sorry it took so long to get to. I agree completely. I'm not high on Deontay Johnson. I like Deontay Johnson being traded. I thought Baltimore's a bad spot. Early on, he'll have some problems. About a month from now, he may settle in and be good for 5 to 6 catches, but not a good spot, to be honest with you. But he's probably happy. Fun fact, it wasn't a good situation for him in Pittsburgh. I think he likes going to Pittsburgh's biggest rival. Also, kind of like the fact Patrick Queen went to Pittsburgh. I like it. I like it. Oh, God, A.J. Lamb and A.J. Brown. Oh, Jesus. Nice job, brother. Mixon Jones. I need one flex. Cup or Hall. Pick one. All right. I like 3 down backs more than I like receivers in the flex. You're in a PPR league. I think Breece Hall's going to have a good game tonight. I think Cooper Kupp could have a good game. I have no confidence in Seattle's defense. Go with Hall, though. Let me know what you do, man. But yeah, I would go with Hall. Great lineup, by the way. Jose, let me. I hope to hear back from you when you win your fantasy football award and money, because this is a great lineup. Okay. Gatelin, just traded Kupp, Swift, Pitts for Wilson, Hurts, Goddard. Needed a quarterback, so I have Richardson. Don't need Pitts because I have Bowers. Congratulations. This is a great move. Do I like Swift? Yeah, I like Swift a lot. I really, 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 really like Swift. Goddard's a great backup to Bowers, and I could make a strong argument you want to start him because Goddard would get touchdowns. Bowers has 1 all year. I can argue that. You need a quarterback, and you got Jalen Hurts. Oh, fuck it. You know what? I'm trying to keep this PG. Great move. You needed a quarterback. You got rid of a guy that you're not using, a guy that, Wilson and Kupp, not bad. Yeah, you got rid of a running back I like, but you don't have a quarterback, and you got a good one. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Congratulations, man. That's a good move. Joseph Cortez, what's up, brother? I'm so sorry it took me so long to get to you. I don't recognize the name. It's a cool name, so I hope that you subscribed. Trade Waddle, Worthy, and Moss for Kamara and Oduze. I'm 4-4. My team would be Kyler, JT, K9, Kamara, C. You got CD Lamb. Okay, AJ Brown's been. I'm looking at this lineup. How the hell are you 4-4? This is a good lineup here, man. Now you got AJ Brown healthy. You got CD Lamb. You got okay, I get it. Jonathan Taylor's been out. Debo banged up. Laporta's been hurt. Oh God, going forward, you are in good shape. All right, let's see here. So you want to get Kamara, and you want to get Oduze. All right. I've always liked Moss. I'm always been surprised that he's not used more, but it's just the way it is. As much as I love Xavier Worthy, he's good for that flash play, not really consistent on a team with AJ Brown, CD Lamb, and Deep. You are aware Debo's on a bye, of course. With Kyler Murray, the issue that you have is that it's a lot of up and down, but when he is up, it's really, really good. And look, what you want to do is you want to get your best player in flex, but I like this a lot. I like this a lot because Kamara is wildly valuable, and Oduze is a guy that's going to sit on your bench. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm assuming 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. I'm sorry, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex, 1 tight end, 1 quarterback. Yeah. Look, as much as I like Moss and as much as I like Waddle and Worthy, you have some unknown. You have an unknown quantity. You get your running back. Don't get me wrong, Worthy and Waddle could have points, but are you really playing them over CD Lamb and AJ Brown? Of course you're not. Debo Samuel, when he comes back, is a phenomenal option. You get a running back number 1 to pair with Jonathan Taylor and Kyler Murray. Both guys have missed games this year due to injury, something Kamara has not. I love this move. I love this move, man. And so let me see here. You're going to make this. I want to hear back from you, Joseph, because I'm looking at this lineup, and now that these guys are healthy, look. You're going to play Jonathan Taylor, tough matchup, but he's so good you don't know. Same thing about K9. For those who don't know, it's Kenneth Murray. But CD Lamb's always a must play. I think AJ Brown's going to have a monster game. Laporta, I think, is going to have a good game, by the way. He's been banged up, but I think he's healthy. Could have a monster game here. Kyler Murray, I have no idea. Probably been frustrating for you. Yeah. Let me know what you do, but I like it. I like it. Michael, what's up, brother, man? Dude, I'm sorry it took so long to get to you, man. Sorry so long to get to you, man. Going back to the trade, I love Brees's. I do too, man. I do too. And here's the deal. Brees Hall hasn't missed any time with injury. James Cook has. That's Cook's more of a home run threat than Brees Hall. Both can take it to the house. Like, I remember Brees Hall, he ran a 4.38. I was like, I knew he was fast. I didn't think it was that fast. And even though I like the Texans defense, I like Brees Hall tonight. I do like Brees Hall tonight. I do think it's a good play. I do think it's something good. No, I mean that's the issue. Dobbs or Mooney, if I remember correctly, you're not. Yeah, God, you got some good receivers. Yeah. So what you did is and again, this is a So this is, and I say this all the time. It's just a question of which flavor do you like the best? You like, chocolate or strawberry? It's personal preference. There's going to be somebody who's going to tell you that Cook's a better player. Some people are going to tell you Brees Hall's a better player. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I really don't. I think they're both running back number ones. The one thing about Brees Hall is a little bigger. He hasn't missed any games this year, and he's the leading receiver on the Jets currently. Is he going to be that way at the end of the season? I don't know. Cook, I think, has a lot of potential. But I mean, with Josh Allen's running ability and the fact that he's a big dude, he does eat into points. I think Cook's more of a home run threat. Even though Brees Hall, I remember he ran that 4.38. I was like, Brees Hall, I'm making it sound like he's slow. That's not the case. You got somebody else in the chat that just said he loved it. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to stand by it. I think it's a push, but I will say this: you're starting Brees Hall tonight, right? I hope that tomorrow we're coming on and you're bragging about your 35 points. This is where you want to brag. So I hope to hear from you tomorrow and like, hey man, I got 35 points, Dan. Is James Cook going to get that? And I'll be like, I don't know. I don't know. And by the way, I mean, Cook's already missed a game due to injury. You haven't seen that Brees. One thing about Brees Hall is that he's been really steady. Like it's just really steady. I said the same thing about Cook last year, but Cook missed a game this year. I mean, he's a smaller dude too. So Jeffrey says, I'm keeping my eyes on Dontavian Wicks because I feel like he's going to eat it. Oh, I do too. I liked Wicks coming out of college. It was kind of an interesting story, but I mean, the one thing about all those Packers receivers and tight ends is that you have no idea who's going to get the ball. They're talking about trying to get Josh Jacobs involved in the passing game, and I'm like, why? I mean, to be honest with you, the Raiders never did, and he's really at his best when he's like that bell cow, 25 carry, just north-south runner. And I had some questions if he would fit into Green Bay's offense like Aaron Jones did, because Aaron Jones fit into Green Bay like a hand in a glove, and I feel like he's doing the same thing in Minnesota right now. He's had some games where he's been wildly productive, don't get me wrong, but he's not really that receiving back. I don't think he's as good as Aaron Jones. So, but with any of the, and by the way, if Willis plays, everything's off the table. I mean, it really is. And then Love is, he's saying, hey, I don't have to practice and I can play. You're not going to be 100%. And this is a big game. I'm not sold on Detroit's defense this week, but yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm keeping my eye out on everything because, like, Reed, I thought was a reach. I thought he was more of a punt, kick, return guy. He's been proving me wrong. Christian Watson at times looks like he could be a dominant number one guy. Dobbs a lot of time looks like Love's favorite, and then Wicks is a guy that can play. I have no idea when Musgrave's coming back, but Musgraves was drafted before Kraft, and he's a guy that like So this goes all the way back to Oregon State, but he looked like he was a top 20 pick at tight end, which is rare, but he looked like that good. And he tore his ACL, drafted in the second round. But when he's healthy, he looks like he's just as good of an athlete as Kraft, if not better. So, Freezy Fantasy, welcome back, brother. I hope you subscribed yesterday. Hopefully, I did not. Hopefully, I remember you came in late, and hopefully, I got your question. But let's see if we can help you out here. Trade 10-man PPR. Trade James Conner for Reed and Reed for Neighbors. I'm 5-3. My running backs are Derrick Henry. Nice. Brian Robinson Jr., Chase Brown. Wide receivers are Jamal. You are in a 10-man. Okay, so it's 10-man. You're in a PPR league, and you have Jamar Chase and Amon-Ra and Terry McLaurin. Huh. That is a good receiving core. All right. Let me just throw this out there because I do like to trade, to be honest with you. My problem is that who are you starting? Because more than likely you tell me. I need to know this, but more than likely two running back, 2 wide receiver, and a flex, right? Well, you have to start Derrick Henry, and you're starting Brian Robinson Jr. So your goal is what, 3 receivers? I mean, you have to play Jamar. You have to. Oh, it's a 2 flex league. Okay. Yeah, and you have this really unless you want to roll the dice with. Okay, me personally, I would start Brian Robinson Jr. over Chase Brown. You can always flip flop that. Derrick Henry's a must start. So you would go Jamar, Amon-Ra, Terry, and Neighbors. Yeah. I think going forward, Neighbors is a solid number 1. I would actually debate which one, McLaurin or Neighbors. That's a tough one to have. You're in a 2 flex league, so you start them both. Connor, I've been saying this for a while. I don't like the matchup this week against Bears, but I've been saying this. Like I really thought that Trey Benson. I got 228 into the show, no brain freeze. It hasn't happened yet, but I firmly believe Trey Benson's going to eat into those touches. All right. Reed, you have no idea, but Neighbors is the number 1 guy. So look, you make this move, you have 4 number 1 solid receivers that are wildly productive every week. You combine that with the steady production you're getting there. Full disclosure, Derrick Henry's production is going to dip because he's on a pace for like 2,200 yards and 21 touchdowns. He's not doing that. But as of right now, he's getting you solid production every week. Brian Robinson Jr., I'll take over Connor. And in a PPR, I like Brown more than I like Connor. Connor doesn't catch balls. Gets in the end zone. Excellent runner. Yeah, I like it. You're in a 2 flex league, so you're flexing 2 receivers. I like the move. Let me know what you do. I would sign off on this. And 4 number 1 receivers, and you know what the best part is that you have the possibility, if you do make this trade, you do. Here's the deal: you're going to have a roster open. I mean, pick up somebody good. So here's the deal with your roster opening on the waiver wire: pick up a big name rather than somebody who's productive, and you have some trade value. That's what I would do. You don't need anybody, though. Let me know what you do, and good luck. I like the move. So I got Tyreek and Amon-Ra at my receivers and Wilson at the flex. Would Puka be a better asset for the rest? Okay. Donovan, bear with me here. I remember Garrett Wilson and Devontae Smith. You already got Amon-Ra and Tyreek? Yes. Yes. Okay, I love this. Okay, because listen. Congratulations, because if Tyreek Hill can get his production back and Puka gets his, if you can make this move, and Amon-Ra is solid. Like, this is matter of fact, I predict Amon-Ra is going to have a big game. The only thing I'm worried about, Malik Willis starts, the Lions may get up and just run the ball, and you may have an issue there, but more than likely Amon-Ra is going to have a good game. If Tyreek Hill can get back to being Tyreek Hill and Puka plays like Puka, you are in such good shape, my friend. You have two absolute stud number ones, plus Tyreek Hill, an unknown quantity that has unlimited upside. You're in a PPR league, I'm assuming. You would have a roster spot available. Get somebody good. Same advice I gave earlier. Get a big name, because if Tyreek's production doesn't go, you may have to sell low. But with Amon-Ra and Puka, you may be able to get like a 3-down running back. I don't know what else is on your league, but yeah, make this move, my friend. Let me know. Let me know. I'll be back tomorrow. Also, Alec Keith, hello. Man, Alec, man, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button, man. Blizzard, what is up, my brother? That's such a cool name, man. Make sure you hit the subscribe, please. This is fun. This is fun. Oh God, this is fun. I might need a little more information here. 10-man PPR, got lots of running back depth. 3 flex league, would you trade Dobbins plus Connor plus 26 first for 25 first plus 27 first plus Coker? Thanks. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just had a complete blank when you were talking about Coker. I had a complete blank. I remember Coker. Okay. All right. I might need a little more information here. I'm gonna do my best to help you out. All right. I love Dobbins and I love Connor. Okay. I mean, look. I mean, here's the deal. I love Dobbins and I love Connor. Neither one of them catch a lot of passes. Okay. Jalen Coker, I had to look this up. For those of you who don't know, the Holy Cross rookie, I've been hearing about him since the offseason because he was a priority undrafted free agent. I remember hearing about him. I actually liked the kid. Had a touchdown last week. Not really. Oh, damn it. They're just, I don't know why ESPN's having some problems with their website today. All right. 4 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown last week. 6 targets. All right. The week before, 1 catch, 10 yards, but it was his only target. The one thing is that I really like is that a couple weeks ago, 4 catches, 68 yards on 4 targets. 4 targets, 4 catches. Against Atlanta, 3 catches, 3 targets. I mean, he's catching a lot of passes, and they really don't have a lot of options. So it's kind of a low-key pickup that not too many people know about. And I have to admit, when you brought it up, I was like kind of racking my brains like Coker. I know the name, and it took me a second. So I mean, now I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I mean, Mingo and Leggett, maybe better options, but I really don't hate it. Here's the thing, Blizzard. In a 3 flex league, I've been saying this for a while. I know a lot of people just think I'm nuts, but I really think that if Dobbins stays healthy, there's a good chance he could lead the NFL in rushing. Now, his fantasy football value is diminished slightly because he doesn't catch a lot of passes. All right. Last week was the most 4 for 11 yards. Not really a let me see if I can get. Okay, God, this stupid ESPN tool. All right. By the way, I'm fully aware. Last 2 weeks, 97 yards rushing. This is a big back with home run speed. So far for the season, 112 carries, 535 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I know the production's kind of dipped, and so the production dipping, and I get it. I really, really do. But I mean, I really like this guy. Connor's value, I think's at his highest now. Okay. If you got lots of running back depth, this makes sense. I have a really hard time believing in a 3 flex league you're not really using Dobbins or Connor. I mean, I just have a hard time believing that. I'm not going to argue with you. Let's just say you do. I have no idea how you could do that, but Dobbins has a lot of value, my friend. I did. All right, so here's the drill. If you do have plenty of running back depth and you're not playing Dobbins and Connor, which I really, 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 really doubt, then this makes sense. You're picking up a guy, Coker, who could be one of those guys that comes out of nowhere and has, because I mean, this is a guy I was following after the draft. He's a big dude. He's got some athleticism. I mean, you have nothing to lose in Carolina. The 26th for the 25th first and the 27th first. All right. The reason why this could blow up in your face and it could be good. So here's the drill. Let me give you the good. The 25 first pick, you're in a 10-man PPR. There is a guy by name, I'm sure you're aware, Ashton Gentry, the running back out of Boise State. He's going to win the Heisman Trophy. He might be worthy of the number 1 pick in the draft. I don't know who this Alex Keith is here, but thank you. I think I have no idea who you are. Oh, Houdini show. I'm sitting here like I'm seeing all your comments. I'm like, what's going on here? But all right, all right. You might be able to pick up a guy that has this incredible value in especially in a PPR league. The 2026 first round pick could be Arch Manning. And you may laugh, but look at the quarterbacks that have been coming out that as rookies have been playing. CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels. Arch Manning could be better than both of them. He will be the first pick in the 2026 draft. But I'll be honest with you, in a 3-flex lead, Austin Gentry means a lot. So there's some value there. Because I'm assuming that with 2 first-round picks, you have the ability to maybe make some more trades, trade up or trade down. The 2025 first-round pick has some value. Now, you are throwing away a chance for Arch Manning, unlimited potential, but all right. If you got enough running back depth, I like it. I do. I just have a hard time because I really think at the end of the year, Dobbins is going to have close to 1,500 yards. Connor's, I've been saying this for a while, Connor's value is going to go down. Trey Benson eventually is going to eat up some of those carries. Connor also doesn't have a lot of catches. Dobbins has a few more receptions than I thought. But if you got plenty of running back depth, it's not bad. I can't emphasize this enough. I just have a hard time believing that you can just, you have Dobbins and Connor. I can see if you got plenty of running back depth. So let me know what you do, man. I mean, this is kind of an unknown thing with your roster. But I mean, in a 3-flex league, I just have a hard time believing Dobbins is on your bench. But I do like the idea of getting a 2025 first. I cannot emphasize this enough. Ashton Gentry may be worthy of taking the number 1 pick. So you're going to have 2 number 1s. You can get a little creative in next year's draft. That's why I kind of like it. Let me know what you do, man. I'm sorry I can't give you a better answer. Do I drop the Broncos D for the Texans D this week? League only has 4 bench spots. Nobody on my bench is droppable, in my opinion. I'll be honest with you. I kind of like the Jets this week, only because I like the Jets this week. When I recommend it, I do think Baltimore's going to put up a lot of points against the Broncos defense. I really do. If you're one of those people that thinks that the Jets are cooked, yeah. If you don't want to drop anybody and you want to hold on to the Broncos defense, I know a lot of people like to drop defenses. You could do that. I wouldn't hate you. I'm going to level with you, though. I like the Jets this week, so that's why I'm recommending against it. But there's a lot of people that wouldn't. I'm not saying a lot of people wouldn't. There's a lot of people that would do this because the Texans D against a struggling Jets team makes a lot of sense. A young team on a short week usually does better than an older team on a short week. But Rodgers has been money on Thursday nights throughout his career. I like the Jets to win tonight. That's why I'm going to recommend you keep the Broncos. That said, Baltimore's going to put up some points, but you have a good opportunity to get some turnovers and some sacks. Let me know what you do, but I would stick with Denver. Thoughts on my Wilson BTJ for Reek? I wouldn't do it, man. I apologize if you had that comment earlier. Because I love this move. I wouldn't do this at all because I think Brian Thomas Jr. has massive upside, and you have an unknown in Reek, and then Wilson's still solid number 2. I wouldn't do this. Pick up flex, Hubbard, Myers, Coleman, or Bigsby. Blue Yays. All right, so I always like, I'm assuming it's a PPR league. I always like 3 down backs more than I like receivers. I'm not really high on either one of these receivers. However, the upside is there. Your question is Hubbard or Bigsby, and that's a tough one. Both teams are going against good defenses. There is some talk about Jonathan Brooks playing this week. If that's the case, he could eat into some touches. Travis Etienne may play. That's another issue. I would go with Hubbard because it's for me, it's Hubbard or Bigsby, but I think even if Brooks plays, I still think Hubbard's almost a lock to get about 20 touches. I think Bigsby's going to get somewhere between 15 and 20. I do. But I think Hubbard's almost a lock to get about 20 touches. Now, it's against a tough Saints team, I'm aware, but I would go with Hubbard. Again, in a PPR, lot more value with Hubbard, who I think will catch the ball a little more than Bigsby. But that's my opinion. Keaton Talk Sports. Welcome, brother. God, I'm glad to see you, man. I got to talk to you and explain why I'm gone next week, and just personal. But do you believe Anthony Richardson cost his career with him tapping out late in the third quarter, or do you think he gets an opportunity elsewhere? I think Indy is done with him unless he's willing to sit behind Flacco until he's ready. This is a great comment, great question, and I think that it didn't cost his career. I've been watching Keaton. I've been watching football for a long time. I've never seen a quarterback tap himself out of a game. And as far as it was funny. Flores was like, "Hey, did you watch what he did?" Because Flores didn't want to put any bulletin board material. Smart. Coach stuck up for him, which was also smart. But go back and watch some 70 films of Fran Tarkenton running around. He didn't take himself out of the game. Randall Cunningham, John Elway, Michael Vick. Never seen those guys take themselves out. I've seen quarterbacks that get the snot kicked out of them fight to stay on the field. Watch some Steve Young clips. Steve Young could have tapped out. I've been saying this before that Flacco should have been the starter. Irsay really liked the kid. He's the owner, and he kind of forced him into the lineup, and this has kind of been a big story. And so I think that the pressure's off to force Richardson into the lineup. He's going to sit for the rest of this year. Now, if I'm the Colts, I try to put some packages together, like a 2-point conversion play, like a 4th and 1 tush push, or like 1st and 10, just put them like a wildcat and just say, "Hey, run the ball." What the Colts do going forward is going to be interesting, because if the Colts under Flacco rally and make the playoffs, you're not going to be able to draft a quarterback. Are you really going into 2025 with Joe Flacco as your starting quarterback? I mean, I have no idea. The answer, do you think Indy's done with him? I don't think they're done. But I think this year he lost his starting job. But what's going to happen during the offseason and next year is really interesting because, I mean, what do you do in 2025? Well, I think the answer is Anthony Richardson, unless you re-sign Flacco. Or do you want to give Sam Darnold the starting job, which is not a bad option either? Do you want to bring Gardner Minshew back? You have to trade for him. Raiders would love to give away some draft picks, or the Raiders would love to get some draft picks. I can tell you this. Chris Ballard was the number 2 guy in Kansas City. He was there when the Chiefs traded up for Mahomes. I can tell you this. I can almost guarantee you this. If the owner didn't push for Anthony Richardson, he wouldn't have made that draft pick. I can almost guarantee you that. So if you don't have to force Anthony Richardson to be the starting quarterback, I don't think you do. But what do you do in 2025? What other options are there? Can you go after a free agent guy? Do you want to trade for Bryce Young? I mean, what else can you do? And that's going to be an interesting story. I think in 2025, what they'll do is they'll try to fit Anthony Richardson in there unless they can convince Irsay that this is a disaster and that he has to spend some money. Let me throw something else crazy out there. What if you trade for Daniel Jones? I'm not giving you an answer because I think in 2025, I don't know what else you can do with the kid. Is there a team out there that would say, hey, we'll trade for him and see if we can develop him? I don't know. I mean, let's say, I mean, look at the quarterback needy teams out there. All right. New York, I before the season, I think they would have been okay with it. Now, I don't know. I think Dable's going to get fired, unfortunately. The Raiders with Getsy, remember they had Justin Fields, makes a lot of sense. I could see the Raiders, like that was kind of an old school thing that the Raiders used to do was reclamation projects. The Saints may have to make an Adam Bomb move. Maybe bring them down there and try to rebuild the team. I have no idea. I think he has to stay with the Colts, to be honest with you. But if I'm the Colts, after seeing that, and let's just say Flacco plays well, I would try to make a move in free agency. I really would. And I'd say Richardson just sit there on the bench and wait your turn, play in some packages, and maybe we'll get another chance to start next year. But I have no idea. Like I have a hard time. Who wants to give this kid a chance who doesn't look like he can play and he tapped out? I think he's stuck in Indy. Gibbs, Ramondre, and Mooney for Kyren and Dante Johnson be a good trade? No. And the reason why is that while I love Kyren Williams, Deontay Johnson, I in my opinion, has no value at all. Gibbs and Ramondre, I would take Kyren Williams over these guys individually. Collectively, no. I understand that. I understand you want to get that number one guy. And by the way, you already have some receivers. I get that, but you're giving up way too much to get a running back. That first trade, did this go through? All right. Sorry about that. I'm trying to find where you're. Trying to find where your trade was because it was a while back. Again, this is a one-man trade, one-man show. So I remember your comment. I just don't remember specifically what it is. Crap. I'm sorry. Do me a favor because I want to answer everybody before I end the show. Because you had another trade that you're going to go through. I don't like this trade, but you already have some good receivers. Oh, okay. So here's the drill. Pollard's a better matchup, but I love Tony Pollard in the PPR league. Now, keep in mind the Patriots' defense is really good, but yeah, Pollard. This to me would be a no-brainer. Yeah, go with Tony Pollard. You'll thank me for this one. Do I trade Lamar and Devontae Adams for Kyler and Amon-Ra? Wow, Blue Prey, Blur Pre. I stay in touch with me, man. I want to hear from you again. This is great. I would not make this move. As much as I love Amon-Ra and as much as the potential for Kyler Murray is there, you have maybe the NFL MVP combined with a receiver whose value is just going to go up. I wouldn't do this. I think Lamar is still putting up some monster numbers. And despite Denver having a good defense, he's going to have a good game this week. And Devontae Adams' value is going to go up. Probably in a PPR league where Amon-Ra is very valuable. Huge Amon-Ra fan. Don't do this move, man. McLaren and JSN for Tyreek. Suave. That's a good one, man. I'm glad. I was seeing the comments. I was like, what's going on, man? McLaren or Nico for the rest of the season. That's a good one. All right, let's start here. I'm going to answer all your questions, but I do have to end the show in the next couple of minutes. I have to rapid fire this. I don't like this move because McLaren's been solid. You have an unknown quantity in Tyreek, all right? JSN, you also have an unknown quantity. So I would not do that at all. McLaren's been solid, and I think his value is just going to keep going up. JSN could also be extremely valuable in the upcoming weeks. Again, you have an unknown thing. Tyreek is, I have no idea what's going on. You may hate me down the line, but I mean, seriously, you may hate me down the line, but there's a good chance McLaren's more valuable than Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's crazy. So I actually I believe it or not, I have a huge man crush on Nico Collins. I loved him coming out of Michigan. He would have been a first round pick, but it was he did this sit out with the COVID thing and everything. So I have no idea how he's going to respond post injury. So I would go with McLaren. I really would. Let me know what you end up doing. Is Jonathan Taylor worth starting against the Vikings defense? IDK, welcome back, brother. I do. I really do, because here's the deal with Flacco throwing the ball. He's going to throw the ball quite a bit. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's going to get his touches. And even though the Vikings do have a really good defense, Jonathan Taylor's just too talented to put on the bench. I remember you putting in some of your rosters, but he's definitely somebody. DK or McLaren rest of the season. With the DK injury, that bothers me. Because I would have told you before him sitting out last week, I would have told you DK, even though traditionally he's just been really up and down. He's been pretty steady until last week where he was a scratch. And so I'm health reasons only, I'm going with McLaren. All right, this is a good one. Okay, I would go McLaren 1. You get steady production. He's clearly the number one guy on a quarterback who's just getting better. Okay. Also wildly talented. So I'd go McLaren. Tyreek is such an unknown quantity. And Collins, you don't know if he's going to be the same guy coming back from injury. You don't have Diggs anymore. So here's how I would do it. McLaren, DK, Tyreek potential. Then I would go Collins. Now, production, I would probably go Collins and then Tyreek. Here's another thing. And by the way, no, do not apologize. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer all these questions. My only problem is I do have to end the show, and I want to answer everybody's question because I'm going to do that. If you're in a boom or bust type of situation, like let's say you're projected to lose this week, and you need to get a lot of points, I would go with Tyreek Hill. Steady, I would go with McLaren. If I could, any one of these guys in any order, here's what I would do. I'd go McLaren, then I'd go DK. Then I'm debating between Tyreek and Collins. If I'm, let's say I got a 2-6 record, I want to roll the dice, I'm going to go with Tyreek. If I'm winning and I want some more steady production, I'm going to go with Collins. That's not really the best answer, but I would go McLaren and DK because I think McLaren's steady production every week outside. DK Metcalf been consistent except for not playing last week. So don't apologize, man. I hope to hear back from you, brother. Mobbing too slick. I hope to hear back from you, Stroud. I'm not Caleb, dude. Stroud this week, the year, period. Okay, so you did get Puka. You're just trying to get one of the better running backs, and I love your thought process because Kyren Williams would be a great move. So you did go ahead and you got the guy. So you don't need these. Oh crap! Why I can't? Okay. So you got the Puka. Yes. Absolute. Okay. I'm going to explain. Jonathan Brooks is either a top 10 fantasy guy, period, regardless of position, or he's not going to play this week. And then when he does play, he's going to be a special teams guy. You don't know, but this is a great move. Now, here's the drill here. You've got some studs at receiver. I understand you want to get Kyren Williams. I get it. And you have Deontay Johnson. You're not using him. Here's the drill. With your studs at receiver, I would keep both Gibbs and Ramondre for this week. Here's the deal with Gibbs. Like they're using him more than David Montgomery. If they're in a tight game, he's going to be wildly productive. If they're in a blowout, they'll probably go with Mark Montgomery. Ramondre's been really up or down, but the potential is through the roof, especially with May. Since you're loaded at receiver, you got two guys that have massive upside. Don't make any moves yet. Do that. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. You just hit the jackpot with receivers. Get Jonathan Brooks. He may not even play this week. After this week, look, I'm not going to be on the show next week. However, I'll drop comments in the community tab. You can comment on any one of my videos. I will answer all the comments, even though I won't be live next week. And then you can also, my social media links are below. You can DM me or just comment on anything I post on social media. I will get back to you. So, like, just do me a favor. Not you Nat Puka. Pick up Jonathan Brooks. Play this week, and let's recap. Aiden, what's up, brother? Dan, I know you're ending soon. Hope you have a time for my question. Josh Downs and Garrett Wilson. Hope you have a great night for. And yeah, oh God, I'm glad you got me because this is a tough one. Because look, you have Garrett Wilson playing tonight, and you need to know whether you're going to play him. All right, and this is a tough one because Wilson's a better player than Downs, hands down. Look, and I've been saying I think the Jets are going to win. Look, I would go with Downs if you're willing to roll the dice a little bit. I mean, you got backup quarterback, you have a good defense, all right? The Texans have a good defense, but again, I like the Jets. And I think having Adams and Breece Hall is going to help. But yeah. So if you need steady production, you're projected to win, go with Wilson. You want to roll the dice for some potentially big game, because here's the deal. Like I don't see Garrett Wilson having that 8-catch, 100-yard. Yeah, I don't see Garrett Wilson having that great game. Josh Downs has the potential, even though the Vikings defense is really, really good. You're 3-5, huh? You got Breece Hall playing tonight. Oh, it's a different guy. I'm sorry. The look at that. They're very similar. Siobhan 1107. Good luck. You're 3-5. All right. God, this is a tough one, because I really want to tell you to roll the dice with Josh Downs. I really want to tell you to roll the dice with Josh Downs. All right. Last week against New England, 5 catches, 113. 5 catches, 61, but 9 and 8 targets. So he's still getting steady production. You're looking at 5 for about 70, no touchdowns. Okay. So, I mean, you got some steady production there. It's hard to say looking at the numbers, because you have such an unknown quantity. Now, last week against Houston, 4 for 109 and a touchdown, and but you're all over the place. Here's Downs' last 5 games. 8 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown with Flacco. Jacksonville, 9 catches, 69 yards. I think Anthony Richardson was against Tennessee. 7 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Is that correct? I honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I don't remember who was the quarterback. I think okay, but I do know Anthony Richardson started in the win against Miami. 1 catch, 3 yards. Last week, 4 catches, 109. Look, I mean, Steelers have a really good defense, 8 for 82 and a touchdown. Last 5 games, he has 3 touchdowns. That's Garrett Wilson has 3 touchdowns all year. I mean, and last 5 games he has 2, but look, there's a drop off. 5 for 113 is not bad. Look, Aiden, I can't give you the best answer here, but I like rolling the dice here, and I think you have more upside with Downs. I think you have a steady performance with Wilson. So if you're projected to win, yeah. Now, look, my first gut reaction was Josh Downs. So let me give you a better answer. Okay. I got to end the show here, but if you're projected to win, I would go with Garrett Wilson, get that steady performance, because I'm going to level with you. Wilson is definitely going to get you 5 to 10 points guaranteed. Josh Downs could get you 2. He could get you 30, but I like him a lot with Joe Flacco as the starting quarterback. Here's another thing. You have a bad Colts defense. Minnesota's going to score. I feel like Flacco's just going to go back. I really think Flacco's going to throw the ball at least 50 times in this game. I really do. He likes Downs. He really does. So I would go with Downs. That was my first thought. So it's a tough one. But Slim Jim, I don't recognize you, man. So please hit subscribe. I apologize. I have to end the show. I'm 15 minutes late, but I would stick with CJ Stroud. You get Nico Collins coming back. Dalton Schultz going to become more involved in the offense. Tank Dell's decent. They keep in mind if the Houston Texans add a receiver, but Houston is running the ball more. Look, CJ Stroud is one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. Not the best fantasy. I got to end the show, but there's a few more questions I have to ask. Like, do you have another quarterback that's really good? Is there like somebody who likes CJ Stroud in your league that might overpay for him? Even though I do like the Jets, I mean, there's not too many quarterbacks I'm saying, oh, you want to start him over CJ Stroud. So it's not the best answer. And I do got to end the show, but I will be back tomorrow. Let me know if you start him and if you do make the trade. Aiden, please let me know what you end up going with. Josh Downs was my first gut reaction. I think Wilson's a better player, full disclosure, but since Flacco's coming back, I like Downs' upside, and I think Adams will be the number one guy, and I think Breece Hall's going to get a lot of touches tonight too. All right, that's the show. Guys, thanks for joining. Even though it's not called Fantasy Football Friday, any and all fantasy football questions are answered. I hope you come back tomorrow. I'll see you then.